dreaming about a better world. You keep wishing for some clarity, always hoping that a lightning bolt is gonna save you from this gravity. You're holding out for some romantic life. Maybe you'll wake up in a world of charm. Oh, but what's in can set you free. You don't have to dream. Your life's a masterpiece. If you just believe, then all you see is all you need. Right now
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the final RWBY live stream discussion for Volume 7. Oh boy, we all knew it was gonna happen. It is so bittersweet. No clip-on tie needed. Sorry, I had to do it to him. I had to wear at least one. I tried putting all four on, and it like weighs my shirt down so much, and it was actually uncomfortable. So I can't put all four on because these are essentially the real-world relics, and if I do that, you know, one man shouldn't have all that power. So at the very least, I'm going to pull an Ozpin. I'm going to wear at least one of them. I'm going to have 3 of them in hiding. So no one will know about those. Well, we'll keep that our little secret. And I wanted to go red because, you know, that's where we kind of started with it all. But how's everybody doing? Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the final live stream discussion for RWBY Volume 7 with the Chapter 13 finale. This was a doozy of a chapter. I think personally it ended in the best way possible for it to essentially pick up for the beginning of Volume 8. And a lot of stuff to go through, a lot of action. Honestly, I would say I think this volume gave us the most fights in the series within a volume. We had like the Aesops versus the Grimm. We had Team RWBY versus the Sabers in the first chapter. You know, Team RWBY going up against the Aesops all individually. Crow, Tyrion, and Clover versus, Crow, Clover, and Robin versus Tyrion. Ironwood versus Watts. The 3-way fight between Tyrion, Clover, and Crow. And this fight, like this episode too, we had Cinder going up against Winter and Penny. There was Neo versus Team Juniper. There was so many fights this volume. This was an incredibly like spread out volume of a lot of action, which is something that I feel like the show is clearly known for, and I think this volume in particular gave us some of the best in terms of choreography and fight matchups we've seen from the series overall. So I was actually like really blown away by the fact that after the Ironwood versus Watts, after Tyrion versus, you know, that gang of people, after last week's chapter, you know, with the Aesops and Team RWBY, I'm like, okay, they're clearly going to diet down. This is going to be a very plot-forwarding episode, and they're going to try to find a way to give us as much as possible and leave us off for the season. But no, they followed through with action to the very end. And and then on top of that, the training montage, Team Juniper versus Team Funky. So many great fights this volume. So many incredible fights. And now like next volume it seems like it's just gonna be chaos and pandemonium, but yeah, a lot of great moments this volume, a lot of things to kind of look at in retrospect and in hindsight. I'm gonna also be rewatching Volume 7 with a friend of mine because he hasn't started Volume 7, so me and him are gonna be binging it. Him, and a couple of our other friends who aren't caught up are gonna be binging Volume 7. So I'm gonna be experiencing Volume 7 from a like all-in-one perspective versus week to week, because it might kind of flow a little better for some moments that we had to wait an entire week on and not really know whether or not it was whether or not certain things meshed well waiting week to week. No, these are IRL friends. It's nobody that is a content creator on YouTube. These are just personal friends of mine who either haven't been super invested, you know, haven't been caught up on RWBY or have been watching it whenever they have the time, or some people who are just waiting to binge it at the end. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing on Sunday. So tomorrow is going to be my finale reaction to the Volume 7. I shit you not, my notebook's behind me, but with the last 2 chapters, I made like 8 shitposting ideas. And some of them include the finale chapter, so I didn't want to upload them because I felt like the title of the video or the thumbnail of the video would have spoiled non-first members. So after tomorrow, I'm gonna have a lot of like RWBY content for the postseason, for the hiatus. So obviously I'm gonna be doing shitposting videos still. I'm gonna be doing my rapid fire review series, which I feel like I'm gonna actually be able to do consistently and do at my own leisure. Now that the volume is wrapped up, it's essentially gonna be a transferring of the live stream discussions to short, consumable videos in a timely fashion, nothing like 3, 4, 5 hours long. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to have in store for the post, for the hiatus, because I know a lot of people are going to be high and dry waiting for Volume 8, especially since the first bit of information we'll get is clearly going to be at RTX. But yeah, I just want to say before we jump into this, thank you so very much to all of you who have returned week in and week out for the last 3 months for RWBY Volume 7. Whether you guys were there for my reactions, whether you guys are, were here live for the live stream discussions or watched it after the fact. This volume has been an absolute pleasure to go through. More support than ever before. And this volume in particular was a big milestone for me. We broke 100,000 subscribers on the channel. And overall, it was just a really fun, week-to-week experience with all of you. And, I'm eagerly looking forward to Volume 8 alongside all of y'all. Obviously, there are other things that I'm focusing on, like video games, getting back to RWBY and anime this year, and kind of mixing up the content on my channel. I'm obviously going to need a very, a very, very long-awaited break after RWBY is officially done this week, just because I feel like I ran myself a little ragged this volume. Granted, I still put out content that I was happy about and proud of, but there's still things that I want to do after the fact. So I know that there are even some of you guys who I saw in the chat when the stream first went live that it's your first time in here. Better late than never. Clearly no shade there, but I just want to say thank you guys very much. I hope you guys enjoyed this first live stream discussion experience. It's going to be a long-winded one. We kind of go through the episode in bulk, and we break everything down to the nitty-gritty. I am starting this live stream discussion the latest that I've ever started one, and that's because I kind of underestimated the amount of time it would have taken me to put things together. This discussion has, I narrowed it down, it has 40 screenshots and 94 video clips. So we nearly broke the 100 clip mark for this finale, and it's because, like I said, there's a lot of action going on, and I feel like action is primarily illustrated through video versus screenshots. So I was actually I was prepping the live stream upwards of an hour before now. So I was like, shit, I need to go super late. So I'm gonna try to get through this intro, maybe like another 5-10 minutes, and then we're gonna jump into it. I'm gonna try to stay on par or on track as much as possible, and we'll go from there. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to break down. There's a lot of things to discuss with this chapter, what it could possibly mean for Volume 8, what it means for the series moving forward, like with Penny and Ironwood and Salem and Ozpin and all that other stuff. And obviously tomorrow's reaction will be posted on the channel as per usual, for those of you who are interested in checking that out. But before we get into that, I do want to kind of do a little bit of housekeeping really quick, get you guys up to speed and informed on a couple of things before we jump into it. But before that, I just want to get through some of these super chats because that's incredibly grateful of you guys. Crunchy Chris, Arnold is wise enough to not hold all that power. Thank you so much for returning, Chris. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. The Fluke Guy Games, that is just an excuse for you to say you got nerfed. No one can't hold all that power for infinity clip-on ties. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, like, to be quite honest, like, it's literally because they were uncomfortable. Like, I just used that whole, like, no one man should have all this power just so I didn't have to wear them. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Ruby Moon Rose. Hey Arnold, thanks for the ride. Thanks for riding another roller coaster of a volume of RWBY with us, fellow fans. You're awesome. Thank you so much for the support. I'm glad to know that you guys have all enjoyed the volume and the discussion and the speculations and the analysis and just the rambles and the reactions and the shit posts throughout this volume. It's been fun, Also, I completely forgot the fact we created a meme that became canon with the clip-on ties, so that's like another immortalized factor that made Volume 7 a really fun experience for me, and the fact that so many people found that funny and enjoyable. Zealous Prop, sorry I missed the second half of the last week. Here's to chapter 13, though. I also can't stretch myself too thin with donations today. No, don't be sorry at all. I appreciate what you can do when you can do it. Don't ever feel pressured to have to do that. Just being here is more than enough, and you've been here week in and week out, so I greatly appreciate that. Sakura Moon, or Mune, there's an E at the end. That E at the end, I don't know if it's supposed to be silent or not. So Sakura, thank you for the super chat. I'm surprising my boyfriend with RTX tickets for Valentine's Day. He really wants to go, but decided we couldn't because we're moving, so I'm surprising. Oh, nice. I'll be at RTX, so hopefully I catch you guys. It's a great experience, especially if he's never been before. I remember my first RTX, And I hope you both enjoy it. It's a fun time. It's a blast. It's a place where you can meet friends. You can see, you know, early content before it comes out, like RWBY and Red versus Blue and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoy. Alpha Wolf, thank you for the $20 super chat. Clover, Adam, Vernal, Blue Eyes, Pyrrha, Penny, Tortrick, Forest, Green Eyes. Theory, blue, brown, yellow, green eyes are in danger. Just a theory I had. I feel like it's more like the hair color is more indicative of who lives and who dies, right? Adam, Pyrrha, Torchwick, all redheads who died. I think also if you're a maiden, you're basically on the chopping block. So Amber, Vernal, because she was the decoy for the maiden. Freya died. Penny is now on the chopping block. I don't like the fact, like, it was bad either way. It's like, okay, they just moved the death flag puck over to the robot, and now the robot is the maiden. So I don't know. Maidens and redheads are always the first to go. Let the painful wait for volume 8 begin. Absolutely. I mean, we're in for it. We know what to expect. Andrew Weston, thank you very much for that. I appreciate the super chat, buddy. I might be going to RTX for the first time. I'll see. Yes, you will absolutely see me there. I'll be getting in on Tuesday. I'm staying at the in the hotel across the street from the convention center. So if anything, I'll be around. I'll definitely be around. I'll be at the RWBY panel. I'll be walking around the convention center and all that stuff. Yo, William Pendragon with the $100 super chat. Thank you so much. Greetings to all. This was a wonderful chapter. Bittersweet that this is the end of the season. I bring grim tidings, however. With Salem's invasion on Atlas beginning, Iron Daddy has begun a draft. Everyone in this stream is now conscripted into the Atlas military. Hey, I didn't sign into this. I didn't ask for this. And I mean, I guess I'm par for the course because I'm wearing a clip-on tie, so I'm like affiliated with Jacques Cheny. Brandon, thank you for the super chat. Here's to the big finale discussion. We'll be on Lurk, but wanted to say thanks for bringing me properly into the community. Here's to a fantastic Volume 7. Thank you guys so very much. I appreciate it. I didn't get to say this last discussion about Clover, but I wanted to say this in the words of Director Church from RWBY. Luck will only get you so far. Yeah, I mean, you know, he's in the business of getting results. So, yeah, I mean, it was bound to be you know what I mean? Like, I also kind of predicted, I was like, there's 5 Aesops, 4 is the lucky number. And they kind of brought that down.
Here for your money.
So yeah, thank you guys all so very much for the initial discussion support. I do appreciate it all around. Thank you as well to Miraculous Corazon for the donation. Poetic Instinct, thank you so much for that. Super Monomon, hey Murder, love your content. Hopefully that after this discussion of the episode, you'll be discussing theories. I just wanted to let you know that on theory about Cinder's origins. Yeah, I'll definitely check out that link after the fact. Yeah, thank you, B-Man Rock 14 for the donation as well. All right, guys, as per usual. Oh, housekeeping. So really quick housekeeping. We've been live for about 20 minutes, so this is the last thing I'm going to get through, and then we'll jump into it. So first things first, the polls for last week. Nimble Fox, thank you so much for the donation. Thank you for the amazing content, Arnold. Congrats on the Canon meme and 100K. Looking forward to catching up on the live streams on Twitch. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it. Glad to have you back again. Okay, so housekeeping really quick. We're going to take a look at the polls because we're going to take a look at last week's polls and we're going to take a look at the final poll for Volume 7 that I started 2 days ago. So I'm going to enable slow chat really quick just so we can kind of be on the same level moving forward. There we go. So first things first, the milk poll. So we had a milk discussion a couple of weeks, last week's poll, and the results are in. Welcome to the healthy, strong vitamin D round 9 of the opinionated pointless polls, and one that is very near and dear to my youth. Which is your favorite childhood milk? And of course, a surprise to no one, chocolate milk is the winner with 56.2% of the votes, with a total of 3,560 votes on Twitter. and then going over to YouTube with a total of 10,000 votes, chocolate milk won with a bigger turnout of 63%. So I'm at least happy to know 3% of people here and 4% of people here understand and know what coffee milk is. So I'm not the crazy person. I'm not the only one who grew up drinking drinking coffee milk. I drank all these kind of milks, but coffee milk is the one that I have the most distinct memory of because I really, really liked it during my elementary school days. So that was last week's discussion. Last week's poll. This week's poll is more of it was neck and neck for a while, but this poll is based on kind of an opinion of movie franchises that I've never seen and which one is worth watching first. So this one is welcome to the season 1 finale of the opinionated pointless polls. Today's poll, however, is rather opinionated because my decision will be swayed based on your vote. I've never watched any of these series, but to you, which one is worth watching first? Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I would have put Harry Potter on here too, but I've already seen Harry Potter, and apparently there are no franchises that come close to those 4. In terms of like pop culture relevance, in terms of like quality and timelessness. Apparently it's Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, the MCU, and Harry Potter. From what I've talked around the grapevine. So Marvel is winning by 40% on Twitter with 3,096 votes, and YouTube is like crushing it. YouTube is 53%. So I'm pretty sure it's heavily based on the fact that the MCU is the most relevant and the most recent in times. Also, the one that probably gets the least flack because I know Star Wars is relevant, but apparently Star Wars has fallen off. And Lord of the Rings is timeless. You know, they're not like making any more of those movies or books or whatever, but it's a classic from what I've heard. So Lord of the Rings is probably the easiest one to get into because there's the least amount of content to go through. MCU being the longest and Star Wars being the most polarizing as a whole. So that's number 2. And number 3, before we jump into this, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to come back on screen really quick. For those of you who don't know, I made a community tab post as well as a tweet about this a while ago. But Klaxon and I kind of put together a survey poll list for the Oscars. So it's Oscars. So like it's Ozpin and Oscar. It's like a pun. But we basically created the RWBY Volume 7 Oscars, where we kind of did a whole, like, we went through the entire volume of nominees, of choosing potential nominees and top tier nominees of like best fight scenes, best voice acting, overall best character this volume, you know, things along those lines, things that you would expect from like the Game Awards or the Oscars or, you know, things like that. And so we kind of put something together that you guys would probably be interested in. The link is in the description of this video right here. So the Oscars is basically you can cast your vote on your best categories such as characters, voice acting, fights, and more. It's very thorough. It's very diverse. And if you guys want to check it out, I have this tweet on Twitter. The link is also in the description of this stream here. And in a couple of weeks, Kaylin is going to be announcing the nominees and the winners over on her channel. And basically, we kind of put it together. Now, what I'm going to be doing is on Monday, I'm going to be making a video of entering myself. So I'm going to make a video talking about the process that we both went through in deciding the nominees, why certain characters are on the nominee list, why some aren't, and then my choices for all of them to kind of bring more awareness to it and to ultimately just spread the word. Because right now, she has 5,000 people applied so far. So 5,000 people have already entered in and placed their votes. So in a couple more weeks, we're going to do that. We're going to give at least another week for non-first members to watch the last episode and to take part and participate as well. But I just wanted to put that out there for those of you who don't know or for those of you who haven't seen or haven't heard of it. Like I said, the link for that is in the description. But with all of that said, we can finally jump in to the final discussion for RWBY Volume 7. Arnold, are you and Kaylin gonna celebrate Valentine's? Yeah, so she's gonna be here for Valentine's Day weekend. Valentine's Day is on Friday, next Friday. She gets here next Saturday. So I already have things planned. I already got her a couple gifts. We're also gonna go to the movies. I want to see the Sonic movie. I don't know if she wants to see it, but that's probably one thing we're gonna do. We're obviously gonna go out to she's just gonna be visiting for the week anyway, so not just for Valentine's Day, but we're gonna have a lot of things planned to do and stuff like that. But yeah, she's gonna be visiting because she's gonna have a week off of school, and she visited because she had a week off of school before RWBY started. So yeah, I do want to go see Sonic because apparently the movie is a lot better than what the initial release of the trailers were. And Sonic's near and dear to my childhood, so we're gonna do that. Might do some other things, but yeah, definitely have plans. But anyways, again, thank you guys for the super chats, for the donations. I will get through those as the discussion goes on because I don't want to waste any more time. It's already 8:30. I want this discussion to kind of go through in at least 3 hours, so we're not here until midnight. But with all of that said, let us begin with the first big pop-off of the chapter, which is Neo versus Team Juniper. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I did not think Neo would 1v4 this fight. Like, the same way that Team RWBY leveled up and evolved, and like with their semblances and with their upgrades and with their team strategy and how they took down the Aesops, I was like, okay, I want to make sure, I want to see the results of Team Juniper's training. And to me, I'm like, yeah, they still have a bit of work to do. Right? Like, Neo's good. Right? Neo's good. Like, this fight obviously makes that perfectly clear. But she was easily able to counter all 4 of them. I'll take Oscar out of that equation, right? Ozpin isn't with him. He probably doesn't have, like, the whole Ozpin osmosis thing going on. And he's a basic fighter compared to the rest. But Jean, Nora, Ren, I was really surprised that Nora just completely bodied all 4 of them and made small work of them, made small work of everything that they tried to do, which was really funny. And Oscar was slowly but surely whittling himself down because he's been like running around, you know, he's running around, he's getting like caught up and yeah, it was just not a good time for any of them, you know? Yeah, osmosis. Yeah, I know what I was doing. It was a pun. I gotcha. So yeah, the first thing we got, this is basically Neo's second fight since her return. Obviously, the first one being against Cinder. And this was obviously, I feel like the 1v1 fights are the ones that are the most compelling and the most engaging when it comes to like seeing how an enemy can face off against an opponent. And this is the first time Team Juniper is really going up against Neo. I think the only ones who would really know how Neo fares in a fight would be RWBY and Yang based on past experiences. And Team Juniper has only heard things of Neapolitan. So yeah, I mean, this is just quite literally a bloodbath. Not a bloodbath, clearly it's not that savage, but it's clearly like one-sided fight. Neo excelling in the ways that she always has with like misdirection and basically kind of channeling her opponent's energy in a way that seems like she's kind of like water, you know what I mean? Like she counters everything, she deflects everything, she uses very minimal energy, and she kind of strikes at the opportune moments when her opponents are kind of going gung-ho about it. Thankfully for Team Juniper, they're not as like physically intensive when it comes to fighting like Yang is or like Cinder was. So in that regard, they didn't wear themselves out in the fight, but she very easily was able to like deflect their bullets, deflect their grenades, and like make fools of all of them. So yeah, Neo puts the B in bodied. Yeah, she bodied the B team. Yeah. It was kind of ridiculous. And then like we really got to see how much her semblance has evolved since its introduction, right? From the simple shattering effect in Volume 2 to where she has that shattering effect. She has the illusionary, like, overactive imagination that she can apply on other objects, like the airship in Volume 6, and also the fact that she can take on the physical persona of anybody that she sees. I assume anyone that she has seen. I'm pretty sure she can't just think to change into someone she's never seen before. It would just have to make sense in that regard, so that's why I'm implying so. But yeah, she is a powerhouse this fight. She makes easy work of all 4 of them. I felt really bad for like, and she's styling on all of them. Like, she strikes a pose when she flips Nora. She does the splits on Ren, and like Oscar, she's actually trying to like stab this kid. You know, and like Jean's the only one who is actually able to be like, hey, I have the shield and the cool upgrade, you know, gravity of all things. So if anything, you know, he was the only one that actually, I take that back. He did get a bit styled on her when she turned into Nora. So even then she kind of like got the one up on everybody, and it was a spectacle. The music was really great too. It kind of made it seem like it was like she was like a showman putting on a show, or a showwoman putting on a show for an audience. And that's what I love so much about, at the very least, that's what I admire the most about Neo, is that similar to kind of like Tyrion, she always entertains when she's on the screen. And yeah, Gravity Dust is best dust again. But yeah, Gravity Dust is literally, I'm making an entire video. I'm like chronological. I'm basically making a chronological video of Gravity Dust, like every instance where Gravity Dust is best dust, and it's gonna be really great. I absolutely, I'm a huge fan. Gravity Dust is by far my favorite. It's the dust that got the most world building to it, and it's not simply just, hey, this is an energy source, or hey, you can use this in a fight, or hey, this is just for ammunition. Like, it's used for technology, it's used for transportation, it's used for it's used for so many things, and even in natural environments. It's so cool. I absolutely love Gravity Dust, and the fact that it's utilized with weapons like Maria's weapons and Jean's shield and Ironwood's gun, one of Ironwood's guns. Super cool. I honestly think I'll do a tier list on RWBY this year. Like, there's so many tier lists you can do for RWBY, like fight tier, character tiers, someone said dust tier list. I think Gravity Dust just blows all of them out of the water, honestly. But yeah, Neo strikes a pose with Nora, just flips her over the parasol, which is ridiculous. One thing about the shot with Ren here that I do want to illustrate, because it was a really good attention to detail that I appreciated, was that if you notice, Ren shoots his left gun half a second before his right gun. And that's why, because if he shot them both at the same time, Neo would not have been able to deflect one and then the other if they were both traveling to her simultaneously. So I like the fact that you can actually see him pull the trigger on the left gun and then the right one, and she just has like the lightning fast reflexes to deflect both of them, and then follow up with just like tripping him up in midair and slamming him into the wall. So I really liked that attention to detail, and just like, I don't know, like Neo just kind of made it look great, and then she's kind of like being very like she's just being very sassy at this point, like ooh, he's coming towards me, what am I gonna do? And then just does the splits and trips him up and makes him look like a damn fool. So yeah, she definitely made good work out of all of them, to be quite honest. And then Oscar, poor kid, you know, like I feel bad. Like, I don't, like, she did some crazy reversal type move on him on this bottom one right here. Like, you have to see it in slow motion to really appreciate how she pulls it off. But she like loops her arm. Hold on, let me put this on full screen just so we can kind of appreciate this a little more. So she like slips her arm under his, and then just like does a backflip, and like does a double backflip. So she backflips to get him, like to flip him, to have his back on her back, and then she does another backflip to like spring him up into the air. It's so freaking cool. Go back and watch this at half speed, and like I love moments like that where something's happening so fast that you can't really take time to appreciate how it's being executed, but it was so sick. And then she's just like, you know, en garde, you know, she's basically trying to poke Oscar. And then we get to see her shatter effect, which is, again, a dual aspect of her semblance, that, you know, semblances evolve, semblances change, and like her semblance has multiple effects, where that one is kind of like a shatter decoy, yikes, a shatter decoy, And then also the fact that she can kind of just change her appearance on the fly, like literally on the fly. Like 1 second she's Nora, the next second she's a guard, the next second she's her normal self, and it kind of all just works. And it makes her very formidable. Like, her semblance can be busted in situations. And then it doesn't even help that the environment that they were in was literally a funhouse maze. Like, all of these hallways look exactly the same. I don't know where the hell they are at any given point. You turn one corner, there's a guard. You turn another corner, there's a dead hallway. And if you fall behind like Oscar did, you'll lose your teammates in the heat of the moment. So I think this entire situation just worked out for Neil with a lot of the misdirection that she was pulling during this moment with Team Juniper. So there was that, and now, oh my god, this fight was so good. Here's the thing, right? And I'm gonna say this right now, and I just want to go on record saying this. I might not like Cinder as a character, but she is a damn good fighter. She is a damn good fighter. I was trying so fucking hard when I was putting this discussion together, right? When I was getting screenshots and clips, I was trying so hard to not watch the fight. Like, I honestly think I rewinded and kept watching, like, Cinder versus Penny and Winter in the server room, like the 2v1 in the server room before she busts them through the wall. I watched that scene like 20 times, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get this prep done in time for the discussion because I keep watching this scene. It's so good. And then here's another thing. Here's another little fun fact for you guys who don't know. I'm a big fan of, like, Dark Soulsy like type music. I say Dark Soulsy, and I hate the fact that everything's being compared to, like, Dark Souls nowadays, but, like, music that uses, like, chanting. I don't know the type of music that it is, but music that has, like, obviously instrumentals but chanting in the background, or like noises, like, not noises, but just like voice sounds like that. I'm a huge fan of, like dark orchestra. I think that's what it is, or that sounds about right. Chorus music, boss music, I don't know what to call it. I like the term dark orchestra. Like, for those who played Kingdom Hearts 3, the fight with Aqua in the Realm of Darkness, that music is so that's my favorite track in the game. It's so fucking good. And then obviously Dark Souls, Bloodborne music are similar, and that's what this track reminded me of like Cinder versus them two in the server room, and then like out in the airspace outside. I was a huge fan of that entire scene, to the point where I wasn't even getting work done for this discussion because I kept rewinding constantly to watch it. I also think Jessica Negri did a great job in such a short time, because she literally came into the picture like 3 episodes ago, and I think this episode really gave a lot, like she delivered a lot more for Cinder than I was expecting in terms of like voice delivery and like the sound efforts that she was doing for the fights. I just really think she killed it this episode, and I hope they take Cinder somewhere, man. Like, this is it. Like, this is Cinder's moment. You know, she lost the maiden powers, but she got the relic. She can get back into Salem's good graces, I think, at this point, and maybe showcase or shine in a more fulfilling way than what I think she's been doing these last 6-7 volumes. So yeah. Yeah, and I believe this episode was written by Miles, Carrie, and Eddie. I'm pretty sure. Hey, Alex! Oh my god, okay. Degent Chestra? Okay. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. But Alex, oh my god, dude, I'm so glad you're here. I am a huge fan of the orchestras this volume. Like, not even gonna lie, I'm looking more forward to the scores than I am the actual music. Degent plus orchestra. Okay, I think that's what it was. Hey, Nicholas, thank you so much for the super chat. You said Bloodborne, so you said Bloodborne, so here's my money. That's how it works. Yes, that's my favorite game ever. But yeah, I'm a huge Soulsborne fan. I got the platinum in Bloodborne and everything. I fell in love with that game almost immediately, and I hope and pray we get a Bloodborne 2 someday. But Sekiro was great. I'm looking forward to Elden Ring, and great to know that you have similar tastes in video games. But thank you so much, man. Yes, this episode was written by me, Miles, and Carrie. Yeah. I do remember. I think, I remember seeing that in the credits. But goddamn, this was a great chapter, man. There's so many things I want to cover and talk about, like like this moment, like Cinder's grim arm is back and kind of still stretchy McStretchiness.
We're not here for your money.
Dark Magic, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it greatly. Poetic Instinct, thank you as well for the most recent one. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, like, yo, you know how many characters got yeeted this volume? It's ridiculous. Like, Blake got yeeted into 2 different walls in the last fight. Penny just got yeeted through that door, or that wall, or whatever the hell it was. I think it was a wall or a glass door or something. So many. I honestly might make a shitposting video of, like, all the yeets that happen this volume as well. Or just in general, how many people just get freaking thrown across a room or something. But yeah, I noticed that as well. We have the return. So this was a big surprise. I was not expecting to see that. But again, another return to form for something that we saw in previous volumes. The Nevermore summons. And clearly they're a return to form from Winter during Volume 3 against Crow, which was really cool to see. Way more detailed, way more drawn to scale, and they kind of just appeared to look more like Nevermore than just... They kind of look like doves in this shot, but in this one you can clearly tell that they're Nevermores. So shout out to obviously the updated animation and the return of an old trick from Winter, which was pretty cool. What a glow up. Yeah, I try to do that with a lot of things that I noticed from previous volumes to this one. Like I did it with Blake's Shadow Clones. I think I did it last volume too with showcasing Neo's fighting style in volume 2 compared to her fight with Cinder in volume 6. So yeah, it's super cool to see them do a lot of things that we can kind of compare and contrast to previous like basically anything from the Beacon arc. I think is like way better to kind of cross-reference and analyze to what they do in current volumes. Still waiting for that time dilation, by the way. I know you're in the chat, Eddie. I want Weiss to have time dilation. Talk to somebody, make it happen, please. That we haven't seen her do time dilation since volume 2. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm just a big fan overall of seeing certain things like this, and it's just a blast from the past because it's like, holy shit, I remember that from when we first saw it. But yeah, I mean, it's time dilation's broken though. I mean, it doesn't have to be. We don't see it all that often. Just got home with my pizza and got paid today, so here you go, Arnold. How much have I missed? We're about 40 minutes in, but the last 15 were probably is where the discussion started. What a finale, too many emotions. Shiro Neko, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I also appreciate you being here in the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. But yeah, glad to have you here. Appreciate it. So, Return of Nevermore's always a good thing. So this was what I was talking about. This entire sequence, I can't tell you how many times I've watched it in the last week. Everything was so good. Cinder's delivery, she's like, you Atlas elites are all the same, you know? And it's ironic that she's like, you guys just want to hold the power forever when the rest of us are just, you know, it only makes the rest of us hungrier, and I refuse. Like, the line is like, I refuse to starve was such a good line. And Cinder, I think more than ever, like, I don't like not knowing why she wants power. I really don't want it to simply be like, I want power because I want power. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be like power hungry for the sake of being power hungry. Usually, or like, in my mind, I would like to assume that a character would want to seek out power more than anything because they've been oppressed, or because there's a higher power that has has kept them, basically oppression. And like there would have to be a reason for her to want power, to feel so weak that she has to seek power from someone else like Salem. You know, I know that she is like the Cinderella illusion, and I know, like, you know, does she have an evil stepmother? Does she have evil stepsisters? What happened to her fairy godmother? Is Salem the version of her fairy godmother? You know what I mean? There's so many avenues they can go with giving that type of inspiration, meaning, and you know, RWBYfying it for this show. But like, that's really what's missing for me. Like, I think it's cool that Cinder's a great fighter. It's clear that she wants like everything. She wants the maiden power. She wants Grimm power. She wants to be on the top of the world, and she wants to be the center of attention with whatever she's doing or whatever goals she's trying to accomplish with Salem. But like, I can't really feel anything for her when there's no motivation behind it besides a flat, I just want power. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, I want to be strong. I want to be feared. I want to be, you know, what did she say? I want to be strong. I want to be feared. I want to be, what did she say? Powerful or something like that? She said 3 things she wanted to be. And I'm just like, that's all cool and whatnot. But like, why do you want those things? You know, you didn't just wake up one day and was like, you know what would be great? A nice helping of power. and having a starvation for you know, basically becoming power hungry as time goes on, when she already has the Fall Maiden powers, when she already has a Grimm enhancement, and you know, the more, you know what I mean, she tried to get the spring one, she tried to get the winter one, and it's just like, goddamn, when's enough? But yeah, and at the very least, I do appreciate the fact that she kind of learned her lesson from Beacon and from Haven to an extent. You know, she didn't completely I mean, she failed, but Neo succeeded. So if Neo succeeds, Cinder succeeds. But yeah, overall, I just really liked this sequence here of just seeing her fight Penny in the server room, Winter in the server room, and then the 2v1. Yo, shout out to this. Yo, who does the camera work for RWBY? Like, I genuinely need to know that, because I want to give them like a hug and a handshake and a pat on the back and like a letter of and my seal of approval, because this volume, like, the camera is like the best character, and whoever's in charge of that shit, like, I love you, like, whoever you are on the RWBY. This fight in particular, like, just look how much the camera turns and moves and does all the work for you. And it's just, you just see the fight from so many cool angles, and it's spinning and turning. It reminds me so much of, like, it's like, obviously this is the RWBY's efforts as a whole, but I can't help but remember Monty and think of like how Monty's choreography and camera work and camera angles used to be with like Spiral, for example, from like RWBY. And I compare that to, like, I compare every time the camera turns and spins around to Spiral from Red vs. Blue, because it's so iconic. But like, I like, that's my bread and butter. Like, I absolutely love, and I've mentioned this time and time again, I love like the choreography when it comes to like camera motion more than anything, like more than choreography, more than like action, and like that's what kind of makes a scene for me. And like I'm so glad that my, like, basically I've gotten like everything I've wanted this volume because of that. Like, every fight scene I think has incorporated that to an extent. Oh damn, someone said Arnold beat, oh wait, hold on, what did you say? Someone basically told me to be careful. If I say I like the cameraman too much, they'll die in the next episode because I said I loved them. Yeah, I forgot my gift and my curse. You know what? The camera guy's all right. You know, we'll just say that. We'll just say that. Kind of upset that Penny didn't use her lasers. Well, she's in a server room right now, and this is all kind of sensitive, like, property that she just can't be willy-nilly just like shooting around, because, you know, they kept it close quarters. They kept it close quarters, sword combat, saber combat, and I think that was fine. But yeah, I was a huge fan of this moment, of this entire scene. The music for this scene and like the follow-up music for like when they go outside is so good. Like, that's like my jam, and I absolutely love. I love tracks like that, like I mentioned earlier, and I think you did a great job overall with the scores this volume, Alex. And like I'm looking forward to the scores more than ever. Like so many of these scores are like in my mind that I'm just thinking like shit, I can't wait to just hear them at length in their full versions when the soundtrack comes out. I think both the soundtrack and the scores are going to be like top tier for volume 7 in particular, especially since like we have 9 songs this volume. So I'm a huge fan of both of those this year now more than ever. Another thing that I really appreciated was how accurate the and I've done this before too, like putting like concept art images side by side with like the actual full like the finished product. But I like how last episode we got the concept art of them two in the server room, and I'm like, what room is that? And then this episode we actually see that room and the fight taking place. So I don't know. I just wanted to kind of showcase that because I think that was pretty cool. And this apparently is a server room for like this is one of the like the server rooms for the CCT. So these servers are kind of like what keeps the network going. I didn't include like the full concept, but apparently there are servers beneath the floor that they can like pull up and kind of use those server towers too if need be. So I think the room itself is pretty cool looking. The lighting was really great. I like the fact that the room was very dark and dim lit for the fight itself. You can kind of see like bits and pieces of Cinder because she's wearing all black, but I just think like the setting, the lighting, and the camera really set the tone for the fight along with the music. The CC, what? They're crazy. I know, they're fighting in the server room of the CCT. So here's another thing too. The Maiden's room is right next door. Like, you got probably the most 2 important rooms in the entire like kingdom next to each other. Like the server room that keeps the CCT functioning and the Winter Maiden's room. And it's like, if you wanted to like really do damage, like you kill the maiden in one room, walk in the next room, and then destroy everything, and it's like, okay, well now they're definitely gonna have trouble keeping communications up. A friend of mine said that they had the Winter Maiden next door so the servers would stay cool because she's the Winter Maiden. So essentially she was basically the server coolers, the servers cooler, which I found that to be really funny. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever. It's one of the tower. Like, this isn't like the entire infrastructure network. I'm pretty sure this is one of many rooms in that entire building that they were in. But yeah, they used a cheap AC in the form of the Winter Maiden, which I found to be really funny. Someone fire that architect. Oh boy. Going after nameless character number, I don't know, 574 for his job. But yeah, big fan of the comparisons there. And oh, okay, so I did this too. So this is the slow motion of it. Dude, Cinder is constantly in motion, like highly mobile. Makes sense, right? She's going up against Winter, who's dual wielding, and Penny, who has 8 fucking blades. And she's just constantly jumping and flipping and kicking. She's using a lot of kicks. And it's not just simply like blade to blade action, which I really appreciated. There's one scene where Cinder kind of does like this mid-air like twist and kicks off of Winter. It's so fucking cool. I think it's this scene right here where she kicks off of, she like jumps in the air, she does a flip, like I think it's this one right here. So she does the flip, she kicks, and then oh, it's so good. It's so good. I wish the room was a bit lighter just so we can kind of make out the movements a little better. But then again, I can just like fix that in like, I could have fixed that in post. I could have added that, like that lighting effect after. I wasn't thinking too much on that. But yeah, the mid-air corkscrew, my boy. Yeah. I'll give her that. You know what I mean? Like, I have a bit of issues with Cinder in terms of her as a character, her motivations, and the fact that I really don't feel anything for her as a character, which is unfortunate because she's been around since the first episode. You know what I mean? Like, this is your episode 1 antagonist who's lost more fights than she's won and who has talked the biggest talk out of everyone, but is the one that really hasn't delivered as much, in my opinion. And so, like, I at the very least, I will say I was very impressed with Cinder this volume. Like, not this volume. Let me take that back. In this episode, at least, like basically from Jessica Negre's performance and the fact that Cinder being a fall maiden, like, it should have been a given, but the fact that she's going up against, like, Ironwood's best soldier and Atlas's greatest defense says a lot, you know? I just really hope that they give us something. I just need something to cling to for Cinder, because I need something meaningful to care about a character, to be honest. And like, Cinder's just one-dimensional in the sense that she wants power, and like, that doesn't resonate with me as a viewer. I don't mind other people who like Cinder for whatever reason, but like, I want to like Cinder. That's the problem. It's like, I want to like her, but there's not much that works for me with her. But she's a dope-ass fighter, so at the very least, it's cool. I like whenever she gets into a skirmish, because at the very least, I know that will deliver. You know, the maiden versus maiden fight in Volume 5 was really sick, too. And her fight between Pyrrha in Volume 3 was entertaining as well. But, I mean, other than that, it's going to take a while. So, moving from there... Oh, okay, so we have a few clips. So, following that motion, we take things to the skies. And this was cool, too. I was a little nervous for Winter, because I was like, she summons baby Nevermores and a Beowulf. So, there's no way that she's just going to fall and plummet to her death. And so it was really cool to see that she actually has more than just 2 summons up her sleeve. She also has a Manticore, which is kind of cool. I guess at one point in her life, the Manticore was something that helped her, that pushed her as a character. And that's even crazier, too, because, like, even Weiss can't summon a Manticore. And she's killed a bunch of them, but she's killed them, like, willy-nilly. I don't think they've really had a major significant impact on her as a character. So much as like the Nevermore, the Queen Lancer, the Borbotusk in Volume 1, obviously the Knight from her trailer. So it's really cool to just see. What does M3 stand for? I have no clue. That could very well be something that's within the world itself. It could be a reference, who knows? But as of right now, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I just really liked it. And then the music on the top right, like the top right shot where like Penny like activates one of her leg thrusters and just spins them. I thought that was super cool too, because you see like Winter trying to stab her and then Penny trying to like get her off balance. But I just love that, like, the fight is literally aerial. You have Cinder using fire thrusts. You have Penny using her jet butsu. And then you have Winter on her summon, and I think it's just cool. Maiden, Medical 3? Yeah, that could probably be like a medical building. That could probably be a medical building. I don't know why, or Maiden 3, like M3, like, yo, this is where the third Maiden is. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a cool, that could be a cool reference. Some people are saying what's an Iron Man reference? Penny shooting up like that? I've never seen Iron Man, so, I mean, I just explained it earlier. I've never seen MCU besides Homecoming, so I'm out of the loop when it comes to that. I do appreciate this shot, though. This shot right here I really liked, and I liked it again. Shout out to Jessica Negri, when she was like, I've come too far to be stopped by some toy. The first thing I thought of was Toy Story. Right, when Woody's like tells Buzz, he's like, you are a toy. Like, that's the first thing I thought of. But I also like that she says that and then she immediately gets hit. I like the sound. I like the efforts that Jessica did with that scene. It felt very satisfying. Yeah, you are a toy. Yeah, that's what I think I said. I don't know if I said that in my reaction, but no, she said no. Even the captions say it. She was like, "I've come too far to be stopped by some toy," and then she gets wrecked immediately after. Yeah, like Penny's a toy. You know what I mean? Like Pinocchio. You know, I don't know. Like a toy. She's a robot. She's a machine. She was created. She's a toy. You know, or a tool. But like she kind of reduced Penny to just being some toy. It's basically Cinder, like, seeing Penny as inferior, even though Penny's kind of giving her the hands right now. She's a toy soldier. Yeah, essentially. Yeah, I really liked it. Like Cinder just running her mouth and then boom, just gets hit from the side. And then they take to the skies part 2. We have hold on, let me get rid of these. So I like this shot too, this top shot of Cinder's fireball. I don't know why. I just like the position that Cinder's in. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because, I don't know. I actually kind of like put myself into a corner because now people are gonna be like, you like the position that, because like obviously her, like she just like kind of just goes spread eagle and just shoots a fireball down the middle. Also the fire effect, like the shockwave of the flame around that looked pretty cool. But I liked that, and then obviously the Manticore follow-up was pretty dope too. Azula vibes. Yeah, dem legs. I was almost gonna take a screenshot of just that for Cinder and be like, fill in, like, you know, what is this like, what's the caption of this picture, or whatever the case might be. Yeah, she's riding a Manticore, which is super sick. And which makes sense too, because it seems like Manticore are very common in that territory. But following up from that, we get dude, the air fights are so fucking cool, man. Like the 2v1 in the sky, it's just so awesome. Like all of them are fighting and just shooting fireballs and energy blasts and lasers and swords and shit. I do like the fact that Cinder was actually really smart about taking out the summon and then shooting Winter, because if your aura is broken, you can't use your semblance, because your aura is essentially your shield and your mana for which you're able to project and utilize your semblance. So that's why Penny couldn't go after Cinder, because she was like, oh shit, she lost her aura. If I don't save her, she's literally gonna fall and die. And I find it very disturbing to an extent that Winter's just okay with that. She's like, my life doesn't matter. I'm like, no, what? Are you kidding me? I understand what she was getting at. It's like, well, if you're wasting your time saving me, that gives Cinder more time to get the maiden powers. But what she doesn't know about Cinder is that Cinder is incredibly, like, has a lot of hubris, and she doesn't learn from the anime trope of like talking versus just getting shit done with your actions. Because in the time that, like, she could have just stabbed and killed Freya while she was sleeping, but she had to open the door, then be like, you had your time in the sun, and blah, 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 you've been waiting for me. You know what I mean? She always has to have that last word, and, like, that's why she always fucking loses, because she's so cocky.
Calm down.
And she would have gotten the power if she wasn't that arrogant, you know? Yeah, Winter didn't have a landing strategy there, but, I mean, who would have... Name someone who... I mean, Weiss wouldn't have a landing strategy without her semblance either, all right? I'm not trying to hear that. Take away Weiss's aura, and then tell me how that landing strategy is gonna fare. Yeah, Cinder's just cocky. Like, she's way too confident. Like, it's not even confidence, it's literally just hubris. But yeah, I liked this entire sequence. It was very, very engaging. Very stressful towards the middle of the episode, because it's like, okay, we got all the fights. No one died there. Okay, now we're getting into the maiden stuff. No one died there. Oh my god, now everything's kind of following up at once with Ironwood and Oscar, and now the maiden, and now Cinder and Winter, and like I was literally expecting someone to die going into this episode. I was so fucking nervous. I mean, technically someone died, but I meant someone of consequence to the story. Like, I honestly feel like every initial maiden that we see is gonna die, right? The old maiden of the Spring Maiden, like, Raven killed her. Vernal wasn't the maiden, but she was perceived to be the maiden the whole volume, so she ended up dying. Amber died. Freya died. I feel bad for whoever the Summer Maiden is in Vacuole, most likely, because they're gonna get offed. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, like, maidens, I think, are destined to die. Up until the vault is opened and the relic is retrieved. Other than that, you know, who's to say? But yeah, so I was a big fan of this fight. One of the really, like, well laid out fights of the volume, like I mentioned before. I felt so bad for Oscar in this moment. Like, I get it. they're all huntsmen and huntresses. I think Oscar's the only one that's not licensed, as a matter of fact. But like, I get it. It's like, all right, Oscar, you need to pick up your weight. Everyone else is like moving and grooving, and like no one is aware of him at all. And I'm like, you guys, Oscar's running ragged. He's falling behind. You guys aren't acknowledging that. Like, no one's stopping to be like, Oscar, you good, you good? Yo, you need to get on my shoulders. You need to get on, you need to piggyback, I just felt really bad for Oscar. He's just like, he's a child, okay? He's trying his best. He just got freaking tossed in midair by Neo. What do you want from this kid? And he got stuffed into like a broom closet. He looks like he's homeless. Like his clothes are all like, he just looks really disheveled and he looks like he's been through the ringer, essentially. Yeah, I mean, I understand. Like they're not his babysitter. Maybe Oscar should have like kept training or shouldn't have skipped leg day or whatever meme you want to throw at him. But I just felt really bad for him in this moment. And I felt awfully bad at that moment. Like he runs all the way to the end of the hallway only for his teammates to turn around and immediately go the other way. It's like, fuck, man. Like I could have just stayed at the other end of the hallway if we were just going to turn around. Like this moment right here, I felt so bad for him, dude. I was like, yo, Oscar's lit. And then before you know it, they're just gone. Like they're literally like, they just freaking like track star mode out of there, and Oscar's just like left alone. Yeah, I just yeah, I felt so bad. I'm like, bro, why the fuck are you guys just like leaving him? Like he's got the relic. Hello? So yeah, I just felt really bad for the kid. Felt really bad for him. But in the nick of time, he is saved short term by someone who we think is Nora, which I guess now we have avid confirmation that Neo can literally turn into anybody she wants. Not just like put on like a wig and a disguise and makeup, but like, I mean, we knew that a couple episodes ago, but like the fact that she actually did it, and we were so close, guys. Remember last week I was like, well, Neo was at the Vital Festival tournament, and all the tournament contestants probably know each other, probably have seen each other. Neo has no doubt seen Team Juniper in passing during Vital Festival. And I was like, what if she turned into Pyrrha and fought Team Juniper? That would fuck up everybody but Oscar, because Oscar's never seen, like, Oscar doesn't know who Pyrrha is. And like that would have not only messed up Ren, which is what she ended up doing with Nora, that would have messed up Jean, Ren, and Nora. And I really wish they had done that. I'm gonna also say I really wish they would have done that because of like my selfish desires of wanting to see what Pyrrha would look like in the Maya engine. I really I was hoping, I was fingers crossed, and when this moment happened, I was like, fuck, man. We were so close. It's like, it had to be Nora. And you know why it had to be Nora? Because Nora is the character that's the most, like, attached to Oscar as a character. And in the last chapter, Nora saw how willing Neo saw how willing Nora was to just approach Oscar and be like, Oscar, you're okay. So, like, I think this was strategic for her to be like, okay, let me turn into that one girl that Oscar actually knows. They seem to be friends. I can get the drop on him. And it worked. I feel like it wouldn't have worked as much if it was Pyrrha, because he'd be like, who the fuck are you? And what are you doing? Why are you helping me? Whereas immediately when he saw that it was Nora, he dropped his guard and he lost the relic. And then, the rest was history. So I do think it worked out for that. It also worked out for Ren. And that's another reason why I feel like for Pyrrha it would have worked, because Neo knew that her turning into Neo. I'm sorry. I'm getting tongue tied now because they both of their names start with N, like Neo, Nora. She knew it would have gotten to Ren because they're on a team. I don't know if she knew how intimate they were, but like it worked, And like Ren was kind of turned around about it too. Ren was definitely turned around about it. He was like, what the fuck just happened? Also, Neo, again, styling on everyone as... So, the one thing that I wish we had seen, it wouldn't have worked out based on Neo as a character, but it would have been a great situation if they were nobody died except the old wench. Yeah, like the old the maiden. I mean, I still feel like volume 8 is gonna be a lot more like weary, like doom and gloom with Salem and the fucking Monstro Grim and like the hundreds of Grim that are flying inbound, and Tyrion still at large, and you know, no doubt Watts is gonna get broken out. I feel like there's so much shit that's gonna go down next volume. I don't know about a main character dying, but like I feel like Winter, Penny, Ironwood, those three could easily, a Pietro, Maria. I feel like any of those characters can go next volume. Like without no doubt in my mind, one of those characters can easily bite the dust next volume. I honestly thought it was going to happen this episode. I thought it was going to be Winter, because like Cinder was like giving her the business, and then she lost her aura early, and then like drawing blood and all that other stuff. So I mean, Clover died this volume too, but I mean, Clover was also introduced this volume, so for some they weren't able to, it wasn't enough time to really grow attached to the character. But killing off one of these guys, I feel like that'd be crazy. Fucking crazy, you know. But who knows, you know, who knows. So yeah, again, so what I was gonna say was I was wondering, like, oh man, I wish we would have had like Neo versus Nora as Nora. Like it would have been like a Nora match. But then it would have turned into like, who's the real Nora? And you would immediately be able to tell. Like it's kind of like, oh, what would you do, you know, if I had a twin brother? I've done this before with people where I'm just like, hey, if there's ever a strange situation where I ever have an evil twin, like I basically have told people like what they need to do or what they need to say to weed out me versus like an evil twin version of myself. And I feel like it wouldn't have worked because Neo just doesn't talk, unless Neo talked for the first time and just fucking shocked everybody with that. But yeah, Neo's the only one who is successful this one. Yeah, I mean, she kind of like went in there, like got shit done. You know why? Because Neo doesn't waste her time talking. That's the difference. Like Cinder could have done the same thing, but I just mentioned earlier, Cinder just wanted to kind of have the last word. She didn't want to just kill Freya. She wanted to open the door, wake her up, tell her like, hey, I'm here to steal your power, and then attempt to take it. Whereas Neo is just like, Neo doesn't live by like the anime rule of like, hey, I'm going to talk for 40 episodes and then we're going to get to fight. And she just does it. So I think that's another big part of like her character, like the impact that she has as a character by not talking. That's a very specific thing to prep for, Arnold. Do you want to tell us something? No, I just usually do it for jokes, but like, you never know. You could have an evil twin tomorrow, and then you would have wished you were like me. You would have wished you'd have been like, you'd be like, damn man, I wish I should have been like Arnold and had this strategy and had this idea planned out. But yeah, Neo immediately defies 99.9% of anime tropes by default on the grounds that she can't talk. Yeah, I mean, she can send text if she gets into texting. You know, if she becomes like a millennial, then it's all over for her. But oh yeah, so then this was where like, so they basically were just getting chased by the feds the entire time. Another thing that I wanted to mention here, because I forgot to, yeah, like she just like got the drop on Ren, and Ren hesitated for a second. That hesitation would have been for all three of them if she had just turned into Pyrrha. But if she had turned into Pyrrha, she might not have gotten the relic as easily. So I'll give her props for at least turning into Nora for that. But yeah, and then obviously I think Ren was crying because it was like, yo, he literally thought he was about to attack his girl. And then look at his reaction there. Look at his reaction when he sees the real Nora running through. He's just like, he doesn't even know who's who anymore. He's just like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what the, like his mind was messed with. Actually, let me make this image bigger so you guys can kind of see it a little better. So he's just like, what the hell? And then he looks at Nora. He's like, oh, I guess that's the real one. And I guess he can tell because she doesn't have her rocket on her back. So it's just like, oh, she has her signature weapon. Whereas this Nora is just like, She just looks like her, even though she has the relic and a parasol. Ren got debated so hard, dude. And then at that point, his mind is already messed up. I think that's why. He just got, you know what I mean? Like, he almost thought he thought he was about to kill Nora. Or attack her or whatever. Okay. I want to give you guys a headcanon. Disclaimer, this is headcanon. This is not confirmed. This is not factual. All right, this is all from my noodle. And this is what I perceive to be what the case was, but it has not been confirmed. All right, take it with a grain of salt. And all that jazz, okay? So first off, Neo turned into this female guard here, which was a really good like switch up at the last minute around the corner, which is how she got away. But this got me think. So I saw this scene, and the first thing I thought was, I was like, wait a minute, is that the same guard from Volume 6? Because there was a moment during Volume 6 where the Argus military base, they did like this random panning shot of one of the guards there, and it was a female guard, and everyone speculated. Everyone was like, that's Neo. That's definitely Neo. Like, why would they pan over that character for no other reason than that? And I was like, wait a minute, was that Neo? So I went back to the chapter. Unfortunately, it wasn't the exact same one, but I think this was Neo. And the reason I say that is because I think Neo has to look at a person in order to turn into them, or she has to see an object in order to replicate it. So my headcanon is that bottom girl down there, like the bottom one on the bottom left, is Neo, who disguised herself as a guard to go to this military base to get a good look at one of these airships, to then go like to the last episode of Volume 6 and turn that Mistral airship into an Atlas one. So I think this is an entire like a reconnaissance mission to just get a decoy vehicle, but she needed to go somewhere where she could get a vehicle that they can get clearance for, and so that it wouldn't be like all that much of an issue. I mean, it's a stretch. That's why I said it's headcanon, but like it would make sense, you know? I think that could make sense. And like, it's like, well, at the very least, you don't have to explain all of that. Like, how the hell did she know that was like, how did she find an Atlas airship in Mistral unless she went to this military base? You know? They're not in, you know, they're not in large supplies. They're not like flying around the place. The only ones that we've seen them at are at this base. So, I think that would be neat. But yeah, that's my headcanon, and I'm sticking to it. Like I said, headcanon, not actual canon. Don't take my word for it. But yeah, that idea got spurred on because I thought that was the same girl that was from there, but they're clearly different models, clearly different characters. Neo walks. Yeah, Neo doesn't even walk. Neo like waddles away. Like she always has like a pep to her step, which I really like. Actually, the whole point of the airship is that we're flying. Wait, is that they're flying around the place? Okay. Penguin Neo. Oh God, Ethan. But Arnold, you're spreading false information. False information, you say? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, let's not go down that rabbit hole. God, I had a freaking awful week dealing with that shit on Twitter. Anyways, I like this eye-opening effect, and I wanted to talk about it, so here you go. That's false advertising. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what theory crafting is. Apparently spreading false information. But yeah, I liked this moment. It's like, Cinder, why the fuck do you have to wake her up? You could have just killed her right then and there. Like, if you're telling me you can shoot an arrow through one of these freaking cases from Beacon, but you can't manage to just kill her through it in Atlas? Come on now. Come on now. She just needed an arrow. That's all she would have needed, is an arrow. She wanted to monologue Arnold. Yeah, I know, and it's annoying, man. Just do what you came here to do and move on, please. Like, how does that look? How does that look that Neo accomplished her goal, but you didn't? Like that, like why you, like what are you doing? Honestly, I'll be completely honest with you guys. I think Cinder's whole purpose as a character is to lose at everything. I'm not even memeing right now. Like, no cap, I swear to God. Like her biggest fear is failing. You know, like that's what Ozpin was monologuing. Like, oh, you know, the fear of failure. Cinder fails at almost everything she does, or she kind of gets help, or she kind of like weasels her way through. I honestly think we're going to see Cinder get into like every altercation she gets into. For the most part, I think she is going to fail to an extent, and that failure is just going to keep piling on and piling on and piling on, and it's going to push her further and further and further down this rabbit hole of eventually like striving for more and more power to make up for that failure that she brings to the table, when it really just comes down to her poor attitude and how she goes through everything and how she processes everything. It's like, if you took things more seriously and like, you know what I mean? Like, you could have easily killed this lady. Easily. Another thing, too, underestimated a maiden. If anything, the older the maiden, the more dangerous they are. The more dangerous the more serious you should take them, right? This isn't Amber. This isn't Vernal. You know, and I say Vernal because she was the decoy. This isn't Amber. This isn't Vernal. This isn't even Raven, who actually beat you. You know, and I think Raven is in her prime to be a maiden. I take that back. She's kind of like, she's old. She's too old, I think, now to become a maiden, but she's had the power since she was younger. So, like, you know, and this is like elderly. I don't think we've seen a maiden who's like in their prime maiden. I think Amber would have been that if she was only a bit more experienced in like fighting in general and wasn't as like, I mean, also she got wrecked 3v1. But yeah, yeah, the cutoff point is 30, but like like the maiden power stays with you until you die. Like, you just have to be under 30 to become one. You know what I mean? Like, you don't turn 40, you don't turn 31, and then the maiden power is like, all right, I gotta find someone else. See ya. It's like, she just has to be at that age before, she has to be younger than 30 to get the power. And since the maiden had left 10 years prior, I'm pretty sure Raven's probably like in her 40s right now. Most likely in her 40s. But yeah, I was not expecting Freya to pop off. I'll be the first one. You know what? I'll give Cinder a little bit of slack here. I wasn't expecting Freya to do anything either. So, but then again, I'm not the one going in to kill her. Like, if she's a maiden and my job is to kill her, I'm expecting her to put up some kind of fight. But it seemed like she was suffering from like dementia or like memory loss of some sort, because like she was just very lost in her thoughts of like, I'm supposed to be doing something. I don't remember what. What is it that I'm waiting for? Oh, wait, that's right. I had a job to do. I don't remember many things, but that I do at least remember. So, like, obviously they're following in the fact that she's old, she's elderly, and like, even though she's a maiden, it still doesn't negate from the fact of like natural deterioration of like motor skills and just general things like memory loss and stuff like that. So that was a nice little little neat detail applied there to just make it more apparent that this woman is senile, she is old and elderly, and she's on her deathbed essentially. Neo got the job done because she was not able to talk, so she wasn't tempted to monologue. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, also, oh my gosh, I don't think I think I'll do it towards the end, but I love the new fire effect that they have for the maiden eyes, like for Penny, for Freya, and for Cinder this episode. I hope we get to see Raven again, just so we can see hers like flared up, because hers is like a dark, like Cinder's is orange, Penny's is greens, Freya's is blue, and Raven's would be red. And I assume it's based on the color of their eyes / their aura. Our character's eye, no, I guess to an extent right now. I think maidens have similar eye color to their aura color. So it could be one and the same. I mean, we don't know about Freya, but I don't think that really matters at this point. But yeah, I do like that. I do like that that effect going on. And then she just gets blasted away by the maiden. And then Freya's just like, hey, I'm old, I'm elder. Oh, actually, hold on. Before we get to that, before we get to Freya popping off, for those who didn't notice this, Cinder's arm is slowly taking over her body as of 2 volumes ago. The arm was at like just above her elbow, so like probably like around here, like in her like bicep area, and now it's all the way up to the shoulder, and like you see like part of the skin, and yeah, essentially, your girl's probably gonna be, you know what? It would be so fucking crazy. Remember a couple weeks ago I was talking about like, oh, I want a humanoid Grimm. Like I want a Grimm that can think like a human and fight like a human and fight huntsmen and huntresses and speak the language. I honestly think Cinder is on the road to that. She might be the one and only, which is unfortunate, but I feel like, again, the more she fails, maybe this Grimm feeds on that fear. You know what I mean? Because before, Salem was like, oh, it can sense your trepidation. You must make it dread you. But if Cinder is under this constant fear of expectations and of failure and of succeeding and not failing, maybe that stress slowly like takes over. And no, I don't mean Salem. Salem is like the opposite of what I'm talking about. I mean someone who can actually fight. Like I mean someone like Cinder who's actually like a combatant who can like go 1v1 in like a very entertaining and like a flashy way. Salem, I think, is very much like someone who just shoots beams out of her hands and that's it. Like I want someone like I mentioned last week, I was like, you know what would be so fucking cool and dark at the same time? Is if Salem just created a Geist Grimm and just had it take over Clover's body. If that's even possible. If Geist can possess the corpses and of dead, like the corpses of people and reanimate them to fight like they fight. I think that'd be so fucking cool. Hey, I said it was gonna be dark, all right? That's all I'm saying. And that could be for anyone. It's not just Clover. I'm saying, like, they can kill anybody and reanimate them into a Geist. Too soon, bruh? It's just a thought. It's just an idea. I'm not saying they're going to do it for Clover. I'm just saying I wonder if the Geist are able to go that far and reanimate, cause you know what I mean? Because they take over rocks, they take over trees, they take over dust crystals and all that shit. But like, are humans on the table? You know what I mean? Like, is a human corpse on the table for that? You know, that could be like an extended aspect of their ability, like the Geist Grimm, not the Geist, like the Seer Grimm. Like the Seer is like the communications hub, but then you had that one Seer Grimm that just literally like self-destructed and gave Salem like a better form of communication. So I think it would be a really cool way of, especially if Salem's gonna be having like, if Salem's gonna be like lining up body bags in Volume 8, I think it would be super cool if she killed off a bunch of people. Story-wise, she killed off a bunch of people, brought Geist Grimm into the picture, reanimated them, and now she has like a human Grimm army. I think that'd be so fucking cool. I welcome that whole, I completely welcome that. If possible. Geist Forest? Yo, oh my god. Low-key, that would be my favorite Grimm. Oh my! I'm not saying the person would come back with like the person is dead. Their body is being utilized as a vessel to fight for the Geist. So it would basically be like the Geist mask would be on the person's face because it has to be somewhere on the body. So it'd be on the person's face, and they would just be fighting, and maybe their body will have like the black grim veins like Salem does, or whatever the case might be, or their body will be morphed or whatever. And I really fucking want that. Like, that's like my biggest. I've been wanting like humanoid Grimm like that since like Volume 2. And or my thoughts of it have been there since Volume 2. So yeah, I definitely want something to that extent in the future. Especially if Salem, like, she can already do that with Grimm. Like, why not take it the next step further? Why not like repurpose humans and make them do your bidding even further? I want that so bad. Anyways, moving on. I just wanted to showcase this for those who didn't notice, but yeah, her arm is slowly but surely being devoured by this Grimm. Most likely the Grimm that was incorporated with the glove that stole the maiden, the Fall Maiden's powers initially, during the Volume 3 flashback, and it's getting there. It's definitely getting there, and I wouldn't be surprised with more times that she fails. Right, this fight, most likely her actions or what she's going to be doing next volume, whatever happens during the Vacuole arc. Arnold, why does Cinder want okay, Vexed. I don't know if you were here earlier, but I kind of went down the rabbit hole with that. That's what I want to know. Once I know that, I'll be able to definitively, like, I kind of just dislike Cinder because there's nothing to her that, like, I want to like her, but there's nothing for me to like about her. Like, I can't like someone because they're a good fighter. Like, I need more for me to care about a character. Okay, you weren't here? Yeah, so I kind of went through that whole thing. I was like, yo, next volume, Cinder's here, Salem's here, she's getting a relic, she's going to be back in her good graces, she can probably do something. I think next volume has to be Cinder's volume, just because, like, she's been in the show since the first episode. Why don't I like her yet? Like, why don't we still know nothing about her? I guess not why don't I like her, like, because there are other people that like her, but it's just like she's missing that thing. She's missing what I need to see if she's worth, like, I just need that attachment. But yeah, anyways, moving on from there. Oh! So here's another thing I noticed too. Cinder is constantly gets attacked by those doors. She got attacked by, she knocked it out of the way in Volume 3, and then she almost got hit by it again in this volume. So, yeah, like these pods, like these transfer pods, definitely like Cinder's worst enemy in all of RWBY. Actually, almost took her out. Yeah. Yeah, she blocked one of them and then she dodged the other one, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they're out to get her. Like, 4 volumes later, and this one's back with a vengeance. Like, yo, I know what you did with my cousin back in Beacon. But yeah, doors are a maiden's greatest weakness. Well, the funny thing about that is that, like, a maiden to be, and then an actual maiden. So, like, those doors are, like that's what connects all the maidens together. God forbid there's another one in the Vacuole arc. Did he do the reaction already? My reactions come out every Saturday. Every Saturday. What's tomorrow? You guessed it. Oh, actually, what is tomorrow? For those of you who don't know, tomorrow on the RWBY subreddit, there's going to be an Ask Me Anything with the Aesops, with the Aesop voice actors. I forgot to mention that during housekeeping at the beginning of the stream. But yeah, tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. No. 12 p.m. Eastern. So what's going to happen tomorrow is I'm going to upload my reaction 1 hour earlier than I usually do. So my reaction is actually going to go up at 11 a.m. instead of 12. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's going to go up at 11 a.m. instead of 12 p.m. like it usually does, just so the AMA and my reaction doesn't go up at the same time for people who watch the premiere early. So, So yeah, that is also tomorrow. I also think I'm gonna spend all day tomorrow watching the finale reaction on, like, people's reaction to the finale on YouTube. So I don't know, it's gonna be fun. I really enjoyed this volume overall, and like the final chapter as well. All right, so we got ourselves a fully realized maiden, boys and girls, and the worst part is they can't control their power because they're old. So it's literally a boomer problem. Like, imagine that. Imagine a boomer being a maiden and just like they just can't. They just can't do it anymore. It's like a boomer moment. Oh boy. Yeah, this felt very Avatar. That's what it reminded me of. Like Aang losing himself in the Avatar state in season 2. If I remember that correctly. Yeah, I think it was season 2. Yeah, straight up Avatar state. This is so sick. Even though, like, she can't control her powers or whatever, it's just cool. Also, I like that Cinder's arm in the top left image, like, got immediately like I don't know what to call it, but it basically just got freezer burned because of the fact that her arm is grim, like what Raven mentioned in Volume 5. She's like, Aura can't protect your arm, it's grim. And then even right there, I mean, it happened to Winter too, just because, like, she went to go and touch she went to kind of, like, put her hand in and it, like, burned off her glove. So it kind of acts like dry ice. Yeah, so it's basically, like, high tier, like, dry ice frostbite. Here's one thing that I'm a little, like, it's bothering because I notice it. So look at this shot right here. When Winter first goes in, look how close her hand is when it gets burned. She's like, oh my god, or frostbitten. And then she just leans her whole head forward. Her entire face should be like the entire layer of her face, like all that skin should just be like freezer burned. And I'm just like, I was like, imagine that actually happened. Because she, like, puts her hand so, like, barely close, and then she just leans her whole head forward when Penny jumps in. Yeah. Yeah, like, look at that. Yeah, like, her whole face, like, she should probably be, she wouldn't be dead. She'd be in a lot of pain, though. Imagine that's how you die. That would literally be on, like, 1,000 Ways to Die or something. Like, why did someone say freezer burn? I mean, because that's what happens to things when they're under, like, a lot of, like, frozen conditions. Like, things just get freezer burned. They're not talking about the ship. They're talking about actual freezer burn. Yeah, and then Penny's just like, I'm gonna head out. She just, like, jumps into the freaking, she just jumps right in, dude. She's like, wait a minute, I'm a robot, that's right, deuces, and then she just jumps in. So I liked that. Okay, so this is the first time that I am doing a clip with audio, okay? And it's because I really liked this moment, and I want to emphasize it, and I want to showcase it during the stream, so it's going to be the first time I have audio with a clip, okay? So I just hope it's not loud. Like, I just hope it shouldn't be loud because I've already managed it before the stream started. There's going to be another one too, but I really like Angry Ren. I really like Angry Ren. And, like, to an extent, we've seen glimpses of it here and there, right? When they were arguing earlier this volume, and then he just became one of Ironwood's yes men. And, like, him and Nora have just been constantly fighting with each other. And I feel like this was the first time where Ren expressed anger, and I actually felt it. I feel like like Neith has done a great job for RWBY since he took over in Volume 3, clearly. But like, I always felt like Ren would have like that. I feel like Ren would be the type of person to scream in a whisper voice, like, "Hey kids, get off my lawn," instead of actually like screaming with actual emotions of like, "Get the fuck off my lawn, you damn kids," you know? And like, I feel like that's the kind of emotion that I've always gotten from Ren when it comes to anything on like, like, for example, Volume 4, right? When they're going back to Kuroyuri, and he was like, and like Ren just doesn't want to go, and he was like, "It'll take too long, you know? There's nothing we can do. We just have to press on." I felt like there needed to be more to that delivery. And I feel like this moment with Ren was that moment. So here we go.
We weren't ready to become huntsmen.
That's not true.
Can you guys hear it?
Then why aren't we holding the relic?
I can't hear it,
Salem
by
has
the way.
lamp,
Only you guys
Ironwood
can.
has the staff, and we have nothing!
Ren, that's enough.
We weren't ready to become huntsmen.
That's not true.
Then why aren't we holding the relic?
I'll play it one more
Salem
time.
has the lamp, Ironwood has the staff, and we have nothing!
Ren, that's enough.
Like, your boy's a savage, dude. And he just like yells at Nora like, "We got nothing." Like, everyone else has something. How are you gonna sit there and say we deserve to be huntsmen and huntresses? Like, what do we have to show for ourselves? Nothing. I really liked that delivery. We don't have jack shit. Yeah, it was a powerful moment. I felt that. Like, that's the thing. Like, I felt that from Ren. And I felt bad for Nora because she's like all head down. It's like, okay, you guys don't let this relationship start off on a bad foot. Don't start like getting toxic and all that shit. He's also at a very like emotional point, right? Because like he was one of the few that was like, "Hey, we need to actually have a plan before we go through with this shit." And everything was just happening on the fly. And then all that stuff that just happened with Neo impersonating Nora and that getting in his head. And now he's kind of second guessing himself, and Nora's trying to lift him up, and he's like, "Leave me the hell alone." Like, "No, we're not doing this." So yeah, I really liked that moment from Ren. Big moment. Also, shout out to Jean for being a leader. And he's like, "Hey, none of that shit on my team, buddy." This is a no screaming zone. You better lower that voice. But no, like, I like how cool, calm, and collected Jean was. He was like, "All right, Ren, like, I understand you're angry, but all right, leave Nora alone. She didn't steal the..." I mean, actually, never mind. I was like, don't get mad at Nora. She didn't steal the relic. And I was like, technically she did, but not really, but kind of, sort of. So I can see why he'd be mad at that too. But yeah, I just liked this moment between them two. And then your boys coming through. Oh, so I'll be completely honest with you guys. That top right image of Jean with his like peeking over his shield, that was an accidental screenshot that I took. I wanted to take the screenshot when his full body was up, but then it gave me that one, and I was like, that's kind of funny. I'll use that one for the discussion instead. It's when he's like trying to dodge the bullets. But gotta love Maria. It's like, Doctor, he's like, finest mind in Atlas. You know, she mentioned that about Pietro in the first episode. But no, that is perfect. Yeah, I was like, you know what? I think chat will appreciate this screenshot more than the other one if I use this one. So I went with it. And I think it was the right call. Well, let's boost this up real. Look at that. Just like, that's actually really terrifying to be like at eye level with your shield when they're shooting bullets at you. Like, last thing we need is Jean to just get a bullet through one of his eyes, and like, there he goes. Like, GG boys. Like, another Juniper teammate falls. In before Arnold talks with Jean behind shield like the Aesop stream. Wait, what? What are you talking about? The potentials for memes. Yeah. Oh, dude, this volume was littered with... Oh, you guys... Yo, I have a meme to show you guys that I was laughing for not even kidding. I was laughing for like 5 minutes straight. Like, I couldn't stop laughing. And every time I looked at it, it got funnier and funnier. It was the funniest... I think it's the funniest meme this volume that I've seen, at least. And I will definitely be showing it to y'all when I... When we get to the moment, but volume 7 is definitely the volume of memes, without a doubt. Absolutely without a doubt, that is definitely the volume of memes for sure. When you realize you missed 10 calls from your mom. Okay, are we doing this now? Are we like memeing John for the screenshot? Let's see. When Saf wants to play dress up like old times. Oh boy. When you realize you left the oven on. Yeah, are we doing? Yeah, I guess we're doing this. When you realize Neo could have turned into beer. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, dude, I love memes. God damn. I love memes so much, man. The casserole. Oh man. Yo, the chat is so live right now. I love it. Yeah, you gotta post that on Twitter. The casserole. Oh boy. Yo, I'm saving that one for a rainy day. That's so good. That's so good. Dude, I love these discussions. I love memes. Okay, really quick. Not even... Yo, no cap. I swear to God. Cue Let It Go from Frozen. Alright? Cue Frozen, right? Cue Frozen music right here. Hold on. Hold on.
Calm down. We're not here for your money.
Like, that's literally how Frozen starts. I don't care what anybody says. Look at that. That's literally... Also, Disney's gonna copyright strike this channel just because I did that now. That's literally Frozen, dude. And then this whole thing. Oh, me and my friends were like... We halfway started a fan dub of this episode. This was like Neo going through the tundra to like ask the Spring Maiden for ice cream, and it's like, do you have any Baskin Robbins? It was me, Jamie, and a few other people. Oh god, it was so good. We were literally trying to dub this entire episode, like just being dumbasses about it. Like the Winter Maiden was selling ice cream. Oh boy, so good. Yo, it's literally Frozen. It's literally Frozen. You can't say it's not. Ah, hold on. I literally just grabbed that entire clip. Hold on, let's see. 2, 3, 4. I gotta reposition this just so it looks presentable. Okay, there we go. But yeah, Penny making first contact at this point. Oh yeah, T-pose. Holy shit, she's T-posing. Jesus Christ, that's literally where all her power comes from. The T-pose. Yo, you know how many characters T-pose this volume? It's actually ridiculous. Nora was T-posing last volume. That's why Nora stood still that entire time while Oscar ran down the hall and punched her in the face. Cause like asserting your dominance, what can you do? Like really, like seriously, like what can you do? You can't do anything. That T-pose, the T-pose maiden. Yeah, it's not even the Winter Maiden. It's just the T-pose maiden. Oh boy. So good, man. But yeah, at this point, I felt like this was like I realized slowly but surely I was like, okay, Penny's gonna get the power now. Because Penny's like in the best condition. This entire room is frozen solid. Winter's not here. Winter was the one that was meant for it. And Penny has been struggling internally with like her resolve of like, okay, having to make tough calls, having to do this, having to do that, and like still follow orders while also maintaining a sense of your own agency when it comes to decision making. And I like that, like, you know what I mean? Like, she was going through a lot of that with Winter a few chapters back about like, not even a few chapters, like I think it was last chapter actually, about realizing like, hey, we have to do this. Like, you know, unfortunately, we got to wrestle with our feelings, with our emotions. That's what makes us human. And like Penny is more and more becoming human based on these. I almost want to say she is one. You know what I mean? She's got the soul. She's got the aura. She's got the maiden powers now, which is like even crazier. And I feel like that's conclusive to an extent. But yeah, another cool theory to consider here, guys, is that Freya is actually the blue fairy from Pinocchio that turns Pinocchio into a real boy. Right? And Freya is spelled F-R-I-A. Freya can also be spelled F-R-I-Y-A, which would be rearranged fairy, F-A-I-R-Y. So this is literally the blue fairy who made Penny real. And so it comes round full circle. Penny's a real girl, everybody. Theory basically confirmed. We all thought that it was Nora, and we all thought it was the freaking like Freya and like Norse mythology, and like and to be honest, like that still seemed pretty like extra, but at the same time, that's what we ran with at the time. But now, you know, look at the yo, I have so much, like, there's just so much parallels to like the whole Pinocchio thing too. Like her being Pinocchio, Geppetto being Pietro, so many other things too, but that's kind of like the big thing here too, like, right? And she's got like the blue aura, she's got like the blue maiden eyes, the eyes itself are blue, and like she passes on her powers to make Penny like a maiden as well. And like that's almost kind of definitive at this point. Who's Jiminy Cricket? I think Jiminy Cricket is Ciel Soleil from Volume 3, who was basically Penny's like liaison, or quote unquote her conscience, the person who kind of kept Penny on track and told her what to do and what time she had to be at things and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, Ciel is no longer in RWBY at this point, apparently, because she wasn't in this entire volume. Still a little bit upset about that. But, you know, at the very least, we got Team Funky for one episode. You couldn't give Ciel for like 5 minutes. So yeah, I think Ciel Soleil would be the Pinocchio, would be the Geppetto. And yeah, and that giant whale at the end of the episode is Monstro that eats Pinocchio and Geppetto. So that's something to think about. That's an alarm for concern. That's a cause for concern if I've ever seen one. And we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah. So if you didn't think about that, that's something to think about for the next 10 months until Volume 8. Yeah. Hey. You can't say, hey, I'll take the fairy theory, but not the monstro theory. It's all, like, you take the good with the bad. Stop! You violated the law. Pay the coin a fine or serve your sentence. Okay. So, low-key, all that's happening with Penny. Meanwhile, the boy is here. Who thought this was Ozpin? I literally thought that was Ozpin. Just based on how he was standing and walking, I'm like, how is that not Oz? Like, how is that not Ozpin? Like, look at that. Look at that shit. Look at that. Look at that look on his face. Like, oh, like, Ironwood, I'm so disappointed in you. I'm only disappointed in you because I appointed you headmaster, so this all falls on my responsibility. This is all my fault, you know? Yeah, I honestly did think it was Oz coming back. I mean, I guess I wouldn't be surprised, right? Oz is officially back now. So when Volume 8 starts, I would not be surprised if Oz was around the entire time, but was just chilling on, like, autopilot. You know, either it's merging, or whenever he takes over Ozpin's mannerisms, that means Ozpin's actually consciously there. But, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems that way. It's one or the other. And, like, Oz is back in the picture now. He better know everything. That's all I'm saying, because I'm not trying to get an episode where we're going to rehash and tell him the entire plot of the last 2 volumes. And because he, you know what I mean? Or even better, it's like, well, Ozpin, what have you been doing for 2 volumes? That's the better question. What's Oz been doing for 2 volumes in Oscar's mind? You know, wrestling with the answers, with the questions, with the decisions that everyone's making, seeing if it's for the better or for the worse, just vibing. You know, just chilling, you know, chilling at home with the boys. Oh boy. I cannot believe this shit, dude. This was, oh my God, this was such a good scene. This was such a good scene, dude. This is such a good scene, man. The one thing that I really appreciated about this volume is I feel like everything that happened had relevance to some extent. Like, Oscar is only here because Ironwood trusted him enough at a certain point in the volume to show him where the relic was. That's why Oscar was like, I have to go and do something alone, because he's the only one, I think, of his group, like Team RWBY, Team Juniper, etc., who knows where the vault is. And he knew that's where Ironwood would be. And this is where they had their first conversation about, like, hey, we got to keep our humanity, man. That's what makes us different from her. You know, and he gave him so much. Oscar is so, like, I honestly think it's partially, like, I think Ozpin's influence is partially responsible. But Oscar was spitting straight facts a few chapters back. He was like, you know, I feel like doing what you feel is best, regardless of the consequences, doing what you think is best no matter what, I don't think that's the right way to go. We have to trust each other. We have to keep our humanity intact. That's what makes us different from her. That's what keeps us on the good side. That's what keeps us from fucking falling to darkness or whatever. And, like, now you have an extended conversation of that, and it's like, well, it sucks, because all that advice you gave him, he still did what he wanted to do. He still did things his way. And even though you were talking, at a certain point, he stopped listening because things just got too bad. Now, here's the thing that I'll say, all right? Because I to this, even now, I still see people, like, bickering. I want to say majority of people are having healthy debates on, like, where they stand with the characters, right? Do you side with Team RWBY? Do you side with Ironwood? Do you think one side, you know what I mean? Like, where do you stand? Like, it's not really like who's right and who is wrong. It's whose side, like, what side do you think has a better outcome? Or what side do you believe in more? But I don't think one side is objectively right and one side is objectively wrong. It really just comes down to their ideologies, their kind of really, like, how they were brought up, like, right? Military, you know, a militaristic lifestyle and upbringing versus, like, a casual kind of homegrown upbringing, like RWBY and Yang, and you know what I mean? Like, they just live in two completely different worlds. Like, it's a complete clash of ideals. And, like, Team RWBY is still, like, they both want the same thing, but they're going at it, like, they're kind of on opposite sides of the spectrum. Like, Team RWBY is like, we're going to help people, we're going to stand our ground, and we're going to try to make the most of the situation, or we'll lose people trying, but we're not going to abandon them. And then Ironwood's like, hey, we can't save everyone. That's an impossible feat. Let's just try to create a standstill and do the best we can with what we have. And that does mean abandoning people and saving who we can, which really, perception wise, it just looks like you're saving yourself because it's just Atlas who's affected. It's none of the rest of the world. It's just your kingdom itself. But yeah, it's really where you just fall. You know what I mean? Some people have asked me like, oh, am I wrong or am I a bad person for siding with Ironwood? Or it's like, no, like there is no right or wrong answer. That's the whole point of this volume. That's the whole point of what this entire volume was building up to. And like after watching the finale, I really appreciate how and honestly, I'm kind of blown away by how this entire volume was a representation of fear in the works, right? The first episode, going into it with this idea of like not knowing what to expect, not knowing if we can trust, you know what I mean? Being apprehensive, not knowing if your friends are on your side, second guessing your actions and all that stuff. And then there were underlining tones, right? Team RWBY keeping the truth, Ironwood being really like immediately, you know, trustworthy and open and honest with everything. And there were indicators that like this was the right call, like this was the right course of action. Wait things out, make sure, you know, think and plan before you act. You don't know the full situation. You don't know the full story of things. You don't want to just immediately assume that someone's going to help you out because you don't, you know, the environment and like just the world that they were in, you know, Mantle and how they were treated, Atlas and how they're treated. It calls all that into question. But like, trust love is like the theme of the volume. You know, the episode is called The Enemy of Trust, and that's fear. And that's really kind of like the back and forth of this volume. It's like I really do love Ironwood as a character. I think, and this is pretty bold of me to say, and that's why I'm kind of like still waiting and playing it out, but Ironwood might be my favorite character now. I'm not gonna, I'm leaning towards that. I need to see how volume 8 plays out. I need to see what happens, like to see if he has a conclusive story. But as of right now, I think Ironwood is like, he's like, I think Ironwood is my favorite character. He's so well written. When you go back to like volume 2 and volume 3 and you see how he acts and how he talks and how he like flexes on like his power and about like destroying people and protecting people as well, it's all genuine, it's all there, and it kind of gives you a little bit of an inkling of who he truly is. Like he's very consistent, and I'm a big fan of psychological development with character. Like psychological thriller in anime, for example, is my favorite genre, right? Death Note, Psycho-Pass, Mirai Nikki, Parasite. You know, I'm a huge fan of psychological thrillers. And while this isn't psychological thriller, like Ironwood's development, this entire volume has been very psychological in nature, of just in episode 1, in episode 2, technically, rather, he's very like open and concerned and just very shows a lot of hospitality and kindness. You know, he's hugging Crow, saying I missed you, you know what I mean, like it's great to see you again, and just, you know what I mean, offering them cake and pomp and circumstance and all that other stuff. And now in this episode, like he's the, like, I don't want to call him the villain, but he's the antagonist to the heroes now. He is a roadblock to them, and vice versa. And like that is fascinating to me. Like I love that I can still root for Ironwood for different reasons, knowing that he's not just like I'm a villain, I'm gonna kill everybody. Like no, like he's a good guy, but he's in a wrong headspace right now. And I feel bad because I feel like Ironwood's vow to protect the people and to protect Remnant and to save Remnant and to be Remnant's hero, their champion, it's built on fear. It was always built on fear, and I feel like that's always been like a hinge, like something that was always gonna eventually become unhinged for him. It's like the fear of expectations, the fear of having everyone depend on you, the fear of not knowing what Salem's capable of, the fear of realizing that no matter what you do, she can't be destroyed, the fear of realizing that, you know, she's fastly approaching, and there's very little that you can do. You know what I mean? Like he's acting very hastily, and Cinder was able to read into that. Salem's reading into that now, and he's doing some things that I feel he's not even going to recognize himself. And it's crazy. Ozpin's monologue and the song Fear, I feel like that's very much addressing Ironwood more than anything. You know? And I don't think he's a bad person. He's not a bad person. He's doing this to try to save people. It's just the fact that he's lost his humanity in the process, which means like he's willing to take lives in order to save lives, which is kind of redundant. But yeah, I mean, you can dislike him as a character, but as as a how do I word this? I think as a written character, I think he's great. I think as an in-universe character, I can see why people won't like him, you know, because his actions go against morals, you know, shooting a kid, regardless of what world they live in, that's pretty like demented and fucked up. And you'd have to be kind of deranged at that point to do something like that. Yeah, but I also think at the same time, Oscar is a very particular situation in the fact that, like, Ozma, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think at that point it's really, I mean, we'll get into that. So anyways, this interaction happens. I'm rambling as well. So this interaction happens. Initially, he thought they were going to fight. They were going to throw down. I don't think that would have happened because unless Ozpin was the one at the helm, I don't care if you're training with the general. You're definitely gonna get your teeth kicked in, especially since even if he's one-armed, you know what I mean? Like I still would expect Ironwood to freaking throw down, no matter what the case is. And I also feel like that's a big part of why Ironwood's just so defeated and fatigued, and he's just going with a guttural like knee-jerk reaction to everything because he's spent. He lost his arm. He just fought Watts. He's been through a ton of bullshit with him and his army, and he realizes, well, I gotta keep up appearances. I gotta keep doing what I gotta do. Yo, Shadow Wolf, welcome back to the stream, buddy. It's at this point I feel like fear is being used as a weapon. I mean, like I said earlier, I think this volume did a fantastic job at showing us fear in bits and pieces. Right? There was always that instance of like Ironwood being fearful to kind of just let his guard down and trust other people and take other people's word into consideration. You know, a lot of times he had like those outburst moments. He was always able to be quelled and brought back down by Team RWBY and company. But you know what I mean? And that's the thing too. Trust, love. The fact is there was a glimmer of hope in this volume. The fact that they were so willing to trust each other with the truth of Salem, the truth of Ozma, the truth of pairing up, you know what I mean? Like trusting in the fact of like, okay, we're going to team up with Robin. We're going to protect the people of Mantle. We're going to defeat Watts and Tyrion in a calculated effort. We're going to do all of these things because that's when trust was at its all-time high. But then the fear set back in at a ridiculous rate because of Cinder. And because the Black Queen and what that means to Ironwood. And so, like, just as easily as you saw trust and love become the center stage of this volume, it was quickly replaced with fear, which was always there, but in small doses. And that's why I ultimately feel like this volume was fantastic in like really establishing Ironwood as a character more than anything. I think he was like the best character this volume. I think he had the most impact in terms of like presence and overall impact for the story, and obviously character development more than anything. I honestly feel like to an extent he probably carried this volume for some chapters, but yeah, I absolutely adored Ironwood this chapter, and I really think he has what it takes to be my favorite character, depending on how Volume 8 wraps up, because Volume 8 is supposed to be the second half of this Atlas arc. And I just wonder if he's gonna die like Ozpin did, like Leo did, and you know, he's next up as the headmaster. So, you know, we just have to wait and see. But yeah, this conversation happened. This conversation definitely happened. And again, this is the clash of ideologies. Like, he's hitting. He's like, "Yo, philosophical, all great. You know, love your points, valid, completely valid. But if Salem wins, what does that do for anything or for anyone? You know, the fact of the matter is he was right. The second he let down his guard, Salem found her opening. That's the problem, though. It was all it was all a coincidence. Even when Oscar comes down to the vault, he even says, "You were smart not to bring the relic down here. I wouldn't trust myself either right now." And it's like, no, I didn't bring the relic by choice. The relic was stolen, but obviously he's not going to tell Ironwood that because that'll just set him off even more. But it's just like everything this volume was a coincidence that just worked. And it just got him at the perfect time. Took him off his game, made him feel inferior and weak, and just turned him into something that is unrecognizable. You know what I mean? Like, go look at Ironwood in Volume 2 and just be like, fuck, this guy's gonna turn into a monster, you know? And that's the whole thing. It's like, be careful when facing a monster because you might just become one yourself in the process. And that's like the whole point. That's like Oscar's whole goal here. It's like he wasn't trying to get Ironwood to see his viewpoint or his side, as I don't think as much as he was just trying to hope that Ironwood wouldn't go to that extreme, like losing his humanity. And yeah, it ended up happening. And so the infamous scene takes place. I cannot believe this shit happened, dude. James is what my friends call me. To you, it's Ironwood. I'm sorry, to you it's General. Sorry, to you it's General. And then he shot him. Like, it comes back full circle. And the reason why I have the screenshots on the right is because in the second chapter, Ironwood is like, hey, you know what? We'll just try to find ways to jog Ozpin's memory back and to bring him back. And then Oscar's like, thank you, sir. General Ironwood? Like, he's trying to find out. Looks like, what do I call you? Do I call you James? Do I call you General? Do I call you Sir? Do I call you Ironwood? You know what I mean? And like, that's like the basis of like their level of trust in the second episode, to where now Ironwood doesn't even see Oscar as a friend. He doesn't see him as a companion. He sees him as a problem, as an obstacle. And he's like, don't call me James, call me General. Now here's the thing. He had to have not been taking Ozpin into consideration there, because this entire volume, he knew Ozpin wasn't around. Right? He knew Oz was gone. He even asked when Oscar came down, he was like, who do I have the pleasure of speaking to? And he was like, it's, still just me. And so by shooting Oscar, that kind of was like, the kid's gonna die. Whatever happens to Ozpin, but Ozpin isn't going to save him. And that's the point where it's like, and the most savage thing about this is like, he draws that shit from the hip. Like, he doesn't even, like, he's like, quick draw, fires from the hip and shoots him. Like, he's literally trying to like make sure that there's no way that he can react. And yeah, I mean, I doubt Ironwood was like, hey, if I shoot Oscar right now, maybe Ozpin will come back and save him, and then Oz will be here to help everyone. No, I think another thing to look at too with this moment, another moment to look at too, look at Ironwood's eyes here. So this is when Oscar compares him to Salem, which I felt like was like the tipping point. It's like, damn, you just compared me to Salem? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, well, I guess I am a monster then. And he mentions, like, hey, James is what my friends call me. To you, it's General. His eyes have light in them right now. Like, look at his eyes right now. His eyes are fine. There's light. There's hope in his eyes. And then when he changes once he turns, his eyes just go, like, apathy. He has, like, the apathetic, like, dull, dead, dark eyes. Like, everything about him is gone now. His arm is no longer, like, you know, the last bit of his humanity in his arm is gone. The last bit of humanity in his soul is gone. The last bit of humanity in his heart is gone. And he has officially completed the Tin Man illusion. This man has lost his heart. So yeah. And then, like, he just shoots him, just blinks once, lowers his gun, like nothing happened. You know what I mean? Like, what's gonna happen if Ironwood like, you know what I mean? Like, what if someone, like, what if they don't immediately reconnect with Oscar? You know, how's Ironwood gonna react to Crow once he finds out that you know what I mean? If this is how he's treating Oscar, how's he gonna treat Crow and Robin when he finds out that Clover's dead and that apparently Crow was framed for killing him, even though it was Tyrion? He's not gonna listen. You know, Ironwood doesn't want to listen to anyone but himself, because he only feels what he's doing is right, and he only feels that his actions are the ones that are he only feels like his actions are what's needed to save Remnant. Like, he wants to be like this fucking false god or this false hero, you know what I mean? Like, have this hero complex. And I understand you want to save people, but, like, your duty really, like, I know the relics are another factor as well, but, like, you're not even trying to put up a fight. But I don't know. I waver back and forth with this because it's not a simple answer. You can't immediately just be like, oh well, we got to trust Ironwood because Ironwood, like, you have, like, you know what I mean? Because then that's what Winter is. Winter is the type of person that just goes with the flow. She has her concerns, but she doesn't express them because it's not her place, or she feels like it doesn't matter, and she just goes with it. Whereas Penny has those feelings and feels like they should be expressed or vocalized. I think there's a bit of gray area in both of their choices. No one here is in the right, and I think that's what makes for a fascinating volume, because there's a lot of discussion to go around as long as people are being respectful and not being like assholes about it, or, you know, having this superiority complex, like their opinion of the situation is right and others are wrong, or, you know, projecting that on Team RWBY because they're the main characters or whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think Ironwood needs to be stopped at this point, because here's what's happening now. Penny is the maiden. Penny is with Team RWBY, and Ironwood needs the maiden to access the vault. Ironwood just shot someone who has been his friend this entire time, has a person, it's tethered to someone who was Ironwood's, you know, a part of, you know, Ironwood was a part of his inner circle, Ozpin. You know, Ozpin also appointed Ironwood as the headmaster. So he's doing all of this to former colleagues, to former friends of his. Now, Ironwood needs to find a way to get his robot back. And who did Ironwood not kill? Watts. Imagine if Ironwood now teams up with Watts, gives Watts the opportunity he never had or didn't have to work alongside him and retrieve his robot. The irony is incredible. Just saying. You know? And let's take that a step further. Ironwood had enough humanity in him at the time to not let go of Watts and drop him into the lava of the Amity Coliseum. Yet here, he lost enough of himself to shoot a kid. So, you know, fear makes you do crazy things. You know, it turns you into something you never thought you could be. And if Ozpin's monologue wasn't enough of an indicator of that, the song Fear sure as hell was. And I think those two things in tandem really bring out Ironwood's character this volume. I think it brings it out beautifully, honestly. And it makes me appreciate him so much more as a character. It just paints a vivid picture of like, damn, dude. Like, this is volume 2 Ironwood. And he's not even a bad guy. He doesn't want to hurt people. He doesn't want to kill people. He wants to save everyone, but he's being pushed to the extreme based on his fear that's always been there. It's been built, that fear has been built off of everything that he has claimed. Like, that fear is built off of wanting to protect people, wanting to protect his kingdom, wanting to protect his military, wanting to protect, you know, everybody. Remnant the world, which is ridiculous. You know, that's way too much pressure and stress to put on yourself. And that in turn creates the fear of expectations, the fear to deliver, the fear to maintain and to, you know, meet the status quo, whatever the case might be. That just adds so much stress, and that just fucks with your mind to the point where you just give in, you know. It just sucks, man. I love, like, and that's another thing. It's just a tragic situation for Ironwood. It's tragic in the sense that he wants to do what's right, but it's like he's not going about it the right way, and it's just blowing up in his face. In the long term, it'll blow up in his face, you know. How do you face yourself? How do you look yourself in the mirror after you just shot Oscar? You know. Thank God for Aura, by the way. Thank God Ozpin came back. You know, Oscar'd be dead by now otherwise. But yeah, it was a very shell-shocking moment for sure. And I think that was honestly like the big, like, holy, like, that was definitely the shock value of the episode for sure. And it was just so well, it was just timed perfectly, it was written perfectly. How its execution was great too, like how he's just talking, and then he's like, it's general, quick draw, boom, and all you hear is the shot, and you just see Oscar fall off the edge. It was such a great moment for the story, for Ironwood, for Ozpin's return, and everything else. And just like the fact of, like, fuck, if we got people turning on each other and shooting each other and, like, point blank, you know, executing people or trying to, like, what's gonna happen to everyone else? And then shit picks up even more, because then Cinder's actually popping off, you know, she's attacking Winter, drawing blood, she doesn't have aura, the Maiden's just chilling there, Penny's like at odds with herself, she doesn't know what to do, and I'm just like, can someone do something? This, like, do something, otherwise everyone's gonna lose. You know, Cinder's gonna win, Neo's already got the dub for them, Salem's on her way, Ironwood's the villain now, or is an antagonist to the heroes. So yeah, I don't know. But with that said, we got to make good of a bad situation. We just have to, guys. The memes. That's not even the worst one. Oh man. Too soon. Look, people were memeing like 5 minutes after the episode ended. All right, I waited 6 days. All right, relax. So yeah, we got wasted. This was the meme. This upcoming one was the meme that I was laughing for 5 minutes straight. It was so, it's so savage. Both of these memes were also made by my friend John. For those who know, like, this is the Michael Jordan meme. Oh, man. Why? Because memes, dude. I didn't make it, by the way. I just copied it, and I was like, yo, I'm putting this in my live stream. It's too good not to. Dude, it's dude, these memes, like, they're dank memes, all right? We got to appreciate them. Actually canceled. Hey, I'm not advocating for Oscar getting shot, right? But, like, come on. Oh, here's another one. Oh my god. I love memes so much. They're so fucking funny. Oh man. Yeah, you gotta meme through the pain, dude. You gotta laugh to keep from crying. That's my philosophy. Yeah, so long story short, be better than General James Ironwood. I mean, but in all seriousness, it is pretty fucked up. Like, I'm not out here like, yeah, kill that kid, fuck him. Like, no, like, clearly Ironwood's, he's so far gone. He's so far gone. He's not even a person anymore. He's literally lost his heart. And then again, the back and forth, compare and contrast, like the light in his eyes, the dark in his eyes. You know, his firm posture, he's pulling a gun on you. You know? Also, I have a couple meme ideas for this moment here too. I wanted to wait until after the episode came out because I didn't want to spoil non-first members from the thumbnail or the episode, or the title of the video rather. So expect a lot of dank memes in the next week or so. Yeah, the Tin Man officially, yeah, he like ate his own heart. He was just like Kalima and then just ate it, and he was just like, you know, I'm the Tin Man. But to be honest, can you blame Ozpin now? I mean, you can still blame Ozpin, I guess, but like, can you at least understand him more? You know? Like, this is the exact reason why Ozpin keeps secrets from people. Because they leave him, because they betray him, because they side with Salem. He clearly has reasons. And like, you can still be like, well, though it's still bad that he does that. It's like, well, now you have a better understanding why he does those things. Because people like Raven leave. Because people like Leo betray him. Because people like Ironwood are so enveloped in their own fear that they let it consume them. Yeah, I mean, they weren't the first, and they definitely won't be the last. I mean, they could be the last. This could be this could break the cycle, you know, this generation. I just think that this moment really gives you perspective. Like, when you look at these characters, you know, Raven, Leo, Ironwood, who knows what's going on in Vacuo with that headmaster, or that headmaster's lineage to Ironwood. Sorry, to Ozpin rather. It's disheartening, you know? You want to trust the guy. Clearly he's not in the right himself. Oh, you wrote this scene? Oh my god, Eddie. You are a literal treasure. This is like one of the... I love this scene so much. Congrats, dude. It turned out really well. It's up to you, Theodore. Don't fuck this up. Oh, man. But see, that's another thing, too. Like, look at the headmasters. Ozpin died at Beacon. Ozpin died at Beacon. Leo died in Mistral. Or at Haven. Next volume is the second half of the Atlas arc. Ironwood's already painted as the villain for the heroes, or the antagonist. He's also the antagonist to the antagonist as well. So, Ironwood dying in Atlas could happen. You know? And I just would want him to, like... Ironwood, I think, could still be redeemed to an extent. Right? I don't think it'll change how people feel about him shooting Oscar, because that's kind of like the, you know, Oscar protection squad, where you at? But, like... I don't know. If that's what he's willing to do, like, on a dime, who knows what he'll do, you know, with others, or in general for anyone who gets in his way, friend or foe. But at the very least, I think if Ozpin just came back and talked to him, things might be different. Who knows? I think at this point that conversation has already sailed. I just don't see a good way of Ironwood getting out of this alive. You know, it's like the saying goes, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I mean, Ironwood's lived long enough, and he's there. Oh, in general? Oh, God. No, I didn't mean to pun. I'm sorry. Oh, man. Damn it. No. I did not. No pun intended. Okay? This is a very serious conversation we're having. Yeah, every scene from here on out was really well executed. And, it's crazy. It's crazy how great. I'm actually really looking forward. So like I said, me and my friend are going to be rewatching this volume on Sunday because he hasn't started volume 7 and a few of my other friends haven't caught up yet. So we're going to kind of watch it in its entirety. And I'm like so looking forward to seeing it's in like the entire volume as a single work in one go. I think some moments will work better immediately following instead of week to week. You know what I mean? Just because I feel like some of the moments were a little jarring, like the riots, waiting a week and then like it's immediately resolved, or like the aftermath of Tyrion killing the people at the rally. You know, the immediate, you know, no fallout to either of those situations. I feel like watching it back to back will make those less jarring of experiences, if it's like watched as a binge experience, and just to kind of see everything come together as a whole. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I completely... And there were inklings of this from Ironwood since Volume 2. You know what I mean? Just seeing how he was bringing half of his military to Beacon. Like, this man has been scared since day one. And he kind of flexes... I don't want to say he overcompensates, but, like, that's what it is. He has, like, all of this military might to try to flex on his enemies and show them that he's strong and powerful and brave and not afraid of anyone or anything, when in fact everyone just reads him like a book. Cinder just like read him hook, line, and sinker, you know, found the maiden because of him and got him like on edge, you know, with one chess piece. Just knew what that would do. He's absolutely compensating. I mean, I think Ironwood will do what he says he'll do, right? I think he can talk the talk and walk the walk, but against someone like Salem, you know what I mean? Like, even Crow mentioned it in Volume 3. He was like, you think she's scared of your little ships? I've seen the things she's made, and let me tell you, they are fear, and fear will bring the grim. Fear! Volume 3 mentioned fear. Like, that's everything that Ironwood's consumed with. The fear of the unknown, the fear of something greater, the fear of loss, the fear of expectations. And like everyone here was like, and that's another thing too that's beautiful about all of these characters and why they turned on Ozpin, is just the fact each one of them gave into that fear. You know, Salem, you know, the fear of Salem, all of them for different reasons. Obviously, Raven left, you know, afraid of losing her tribe most likely, or, you know, or just feeling hopeless of like the fact that they cannot beat Salem. And maybe that has to do with Summer dying. Maybe Summer died, and like that was where her hope, the hope that she had to beat her, faded with Summer dying. You know, Leo's a coward. You know, his whole reason for betraying was to save himself. And Ironwood's fear comes from the fact that he wants to save others, you know, to the point where he doesn't even care about how people label him or what they call him or how he's perceived, you know. So that to that extent, that's scary as well, to the point where you're so selfless that it kind of makes you almost heartless to the fact that you don't care. It almost makes you come off as apathetic to yourself and how other people see you, which is not the best quality trait. But yeah, I'm happy to have Ozpin back. I'm glad to know that at the very least, moving forward, he'll have a bit of a hopefully he'll have a bit of input as to like what course of action can happen next, because I feel like Team RWBY and Juniper have done everything that they can do at this point, and now Salem and Ironwood are really Ozpin's battle to fight. I just don't know, you know. Oh yeah, Eddie, I really hope you're featured on the Blu-ray DVD. I mean, you have to be. I mean, you're a writer who's actually at Rooster Teeth. You know, you, Miles, and Carrie, that'd be incredible. That'd be great. I'd love to hear the thought process of this volume, the writing decisions, just how this volume has felt for you overall. Just because, you know, it's your first time through the ringer being a writer on the team. But yeah, I definitely look forward to the commentaries this year, if there are any to be had. Let's see. Okay, let's get rid of these. Okay, meanwhile, so Ironwood, like, puts a bullet in Oscar. Meanwhile, Cinder is popping off, and this is where things ramp up. You know what this reminds me of? Like, Ironwood shooting Oscar was kind of the equivalent of Cinder shooting Amber with the arrow, because like that one thing happened and then it just escalated from there. It's like arrow shot through the chest, arrow shot through the chest, Yang's arm gets cut off, no, Blake gets stabbed, Yang's arm gets cut off, Cinder gets the Fall Maiden powers, like everything just like ramped up. So I was like, fuck, Oscar got shot, so that means shit's about to go down here. Penny doesn't know what to do. Cinder just freaking attacked Winter, no aura, blood's being drawn. I'm like, okay, is Winter gonna die now? Is Penny gonna become the maiden? Like, what? Like, no one else is here. Ruby and Weiss nowhere to be seen. I really thought like this was like where things were just gonna pop off at this point. Yeah, and Cinder is just completely obsessed with just wanting the power. And I think it's super cool that she can regenerate her arm. I do like again, shout out to Jessica Negri, the voice acting at this point, like her voice cracking, also like her, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the way, like she was doing like those heavy, like sharp breathing, like the sharp breathing just to kind of like coincide with probably the pain that she was feeling. It just felt I felt her sense of like pain and desperation. I don't know, like I really enjoyed Cinder this episode. From Jessica's performance to her fighting like to Cinder's fighting capabilities to like everything that kind of managed all the way up to the very end. Yeah, well, I mean, she got her arm cut off and she probably felt that whole thing, and then she had to feel it be like regenerated back to like where it was before. So yeah, definitely not the best experience, I'm sure. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let's see. The final episode wasn't finished until last week, so it's not that surprising. They normally wait until it's finished to deliver for disc. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just hope that it's a possibility. You know, I love Miles and Carrie, of course. I think Miles, Carrie, and I think it was like Miles, Carrie, Gray, and Cohen were on the previous couple director commentaries, but like now that you're on the writing team, I think it'd be great, especially since you had a big hand in a lot of these chapters, you know, and to kind of bring you in like to your first debut for the I just hope so. I hope so for sure. I definitely look forward to it. So yeah, Penny is, okay, so one thing that Winter mentions, she mentions that the power, like, Freya is a part of her now. Did she mean that, like, spiritually? Like, oh, her power, like, the power is with her now. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like, you carry the legacy of a previous, you know, like, she entrusted you with the maiden powers, not necessarily, like, you know, she's actually with you subconsciously. Yeah, a human way, not a literal way. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Because I remember, like, the pods in the Beacon arc was supposed to, like Amber her life was going to be intertwined with Pyrrha's life. So there was going to be, like, two lives. It was going to be like Oscar and Ozpin, you know, two lives in one, you know, two souls in one body. So I was just wondering if that's what she meant by, because like she didn't have to kill. You know what I mean? I mean she did die, so I was wondering, like, did she transfer the aura? Did she transfer the power? Like, did she die and then she was like, okay, you're in my final thoughts. All right, I'm gonna die now. Get ready to take my powers. You know? That was a brute force merging. Yeah. I do think it was more of like a spiritual kind of thing. I was just curious if it could have been interpreted either or. All right, so I like this moment too. So Ozpin's coming back during this whole moment, like all this other crazy shit's going. So I literally thought Winter was gonna die right here. Like if I didn't hear Penny, I'm sorry, if I didn't see like Weiss and RWBY, I was like, yeah, Winter's definitely gonna die right now. Penny just got the powers. But then RWBY popped off and everything kind of worked out. Dude, I love the Maiden like fire eye flare effect. Like the green flames, the orange flames, the blue flames. I call them flames because that's what they look like on the eyes. It also reminds me of like the lightning effect that in Kuroko's basketball, like when characters go in the zone, it shows like lightning instead of fire. The green land. I like that green though. Like I like that color green that they went with. Damn, man. Penny is a robot and she's a maiden. Holy shit, dude. No wonder Cinder booked it out of there. Like, if you thought it was tough the first time to just fight Penny, now Penny has magic. No, I don't think green eyes are dumb. I like those eye color. I like that eye color. I mean, you know, your opinion's your opinion. I disagree. But yeah, Cinder took one look at RWBY and was like, oh shit, that's the girl. And I think at this point, Cinder is just going to imply that RWBY has mastered her silver eyes when she clearly has not. Like, she clearly has not. It's just like seeing Cinder gives RWBY that guttural, like, emotional response. You know, especially since she was trying to kill Winter. And she just looked at Cinder and was like, I gotta protect life, because that bitch is trying to kill life. So, I like how Cinder is quite literally afraid of RWBY now. It's no longer a, I need to get back at this girl for getting the one up on me at Beacon. It's quite literally now like, I'm a Grimm, and RWBY is my immediate, like, counter because of her eyes. Which makes things worse for Cinder because, like, you'll never be able to beat her in a one-on-one now. Especially if she harnesses her silver powers, you know, her silver-eyed powers. But yeah, this entire scene was great. The music was building up. Ozpin was doing like his own crazy shit with Oscar with his relic. So here's the thing. How many of you guys thought, I'll be honest with you guys, I thought Ozpin was about to turn back time. I thought we were going to get like a timeline. You know what I mean? Like how Cinder was like, the timeline has changed, and Ironwood was like, the timeline has changed. I don't think they literally meant like an actual timeline changed. I literally thought it's like, hey, time to go back in time all the way to RWBY Volume 1. But then that timeline would be like different events. It wouldn't happen the exact same way. I don't know why. I just thought something bigger was going to happen with this relic. And the fact that it was like turning its gears and like all of this other shit was happening. I thought some time magic was gonna go down. Hey, Sonny. Oh yeah, I can only imagine how you felt this episode. Holy shit. Yeah, with Ren and Oscar. Yeah. I'm looking forward to your reaction. But yeah, Ozpin's back. Saved Ozpin in the nick of time. Saved Oscar in the nick of time. Oscar was about to pass out right there. And, Yeah, I just liked this whole moment. He's just like free fall, like just falling straight down the like freaking the vault. But yeah, I thought this entire moment here. So I assume this ability, it's the same ability that Ozpin used when Salem, like against Salem. I'm sorry, Cinder, in the Volume 3 fight between them two, where it seems like a shield that can just nullify damage. Like he took all of that fall damage, like, and impacted into the base of the vault. And then when he landed too, like, bro, you just fell like 20,000 feet and you're good. So that might be like a nullifying shield of some sort. Dude, I was so happy Ozpin's back. I've been wanting Ozpin back ever since he left in volume 6. I was happy that like he came back briefly to guide Oscar in the airship at the end of volume 6, but to not hear him the entire episode and then hear him in these final moments was such a treat. I miss Shannon so much. You're a wizard, Oscar. The signal in my ear sucks. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna have a treat now. Another audio cue. Another audio clip. Technically, it's a video that I have prepped to go up tomorrow after the discussion is done. But you guys already know what it's gonna be. You guys just don't know it yet. But following this moment, we got this.
The single quality that is common across every living creature on this planet is fear. It's funny, then, that as common as fear is, we so easily underestimate its power. Fear of growing close to someone. The subsequent fear of loss. Fear of failure. And as more people depend on you, those fears can take on greater power. But fear itself isn't worthy of concern. It is who we become while in its clutches. Will you be proud of that person? Will you forgive them? Will you understand why they felt the need to do the things they did? Will you even recognize them? Or will the person staring back at you be the very thing you should have feared from the start? I suppose we all find out, sooner or later.
That power. These memories. You're back, aren't you? You saved me.
Actually, you saved us.
That is single-handedly one of, if not like the best moment, like one of the best moments of RWBY, period. I absolutely love, like, I like the entire sequence. That's essentially just Ozpin's monologue. I'm gonna post that as its own thing tomorrow, just so people can have it as like an archive on YouTube, because I think it's a very special moment. It's kind of similar to how like the Volume 1, Chapter 1 like intro like is a continuation of Salem's and Ozpin's monologue that continues in Volume 3. So just moments like that. But like, I really think that moment capitalizes on everything that this, like, just the volume overall, just fear in general, and what that means for everyone. Like, every character in this show goes through that, right? The heroes and the villains may be opposed to each other, but they both go through fear in the same regard. The difference is the heroes do what they can to protect their loved ones from like they try to keep their loved ones from being harmed, whereas the villains kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? They feed off of it, right? Like Salem heavily relies on fear to get what she wants, and that plays both in turn for her antagonists, you know, her adversaries, Ozpin, Team RWBY, Team Juniper, the headmasters, etc., but also for her own cohorts like, you know, Tyrion and Cinder especially, you know, and they explained everything that each character goes through for that loss. You know, Cinder's is the loss of, the fear of failure. Crow's has always been the fear of getting close to people because his semblance is a curse. It's what prevents him from having friends and a family and for being close to his own friends and family. You know, it's what he probably perceives as what got Clover killed. Someone who's been around this entire volume, who's been a very uplifting factor in his life. And, yeah, I mean, I just really loved that monologue. And then also they had the instrumentals for Fear, which watching it for the first time, you didn't know that. But again, I also think that it was I'm pretty sure, like, I'm just going to call it right now, that the song is from Oscar and Ozpin's perspective to whoever the song applies to. And the first character that comes to my mind is Ironwood. So it's very much like Ozpin and Oscar's perspective on fear and what it does to people like Ironwood when they go too far, or in general, like how it affects anybody. So he's still falling. Rumor has it he's still falling. Look at him. He's still falling. So yeah, this is the aftermath of everything, crashing through the base of the vault. So that's another thing too. There's literally an opening to the vault now. It's like the vault of Haven, right? The little air pocket way that Cinder fell out of at the bottom of at the base of it, like that little lake, that little pond that was at the bottom. So yeah, like Salem can just fly up the shaft of the vault to get to the relic. She doesn't even need to go down that specific elevator. But yeah, Oscar's free falling right now, as the song goes. And Winter is pretty aggressive, pretty upset with her sister. She's like, "What did you do? Why are you on this wanted list?" You know? It's like, well, we kind of broke the rules. We kind of attacked the Aesops. We kind of went against the headmaster and all that other jazz. God, this volume was so good. That monologue was perfect. I absolutely like, and it's just like the fact of like, it's just like it's just like the cherry on top. Having Ozpin back is like the cherry on top to all of this, because I feel like more than anything, it's gonna be a big factor of like having him back, having him in the driver's seat of Volume 8. Now that he has to deal with a headmaster he appointed that's now kind of gone off the deep end, and his ex who's now here. And like what that interaction is going to be. Ozpin seeing Salem in this lifetime in the body of a child on top of that. Like, what is that going to be like? Ozpin better pop off. Oscar better awaken his semblance also, just saying. Like, a lot of shit needs to go down. A lot of stuff, man. It's crazy, dude. I don't know. Penny's the maiden. I do like in this shot, in the top right shot, you see like the melted ice on the ceiling to see like, oh, Cinder just like yeeted herself out of this. She's like, yo, this silver eye shit actually it hurts. I'm dying. It's killing me. Get me out of here. But yeah, I just loved how this volume played out, dude. Like this finale. And that's the thing too. The volume didn't, not the volume, but this finale, I feel like some people are a little conflicted with it because it doesn't really give you a sense of like how you should feel about it. Like, am I supposed to feel depressed? Am I supposed to feel sad and hopeless about what's coming next? Should I feel optimistic? Should I feel by By the way, that's how that callback to chapter 2 with Oscar not knowing. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier because at first he was like, you know, he's like, Sir General Ironwood, and now he's like, don't call me James. It's actually Ironwood because we're not boys anymore. You're not fam anymore. And he just freaking shoots him. So yeah. But yeah, man, I think I feel like the volume was very middle grounded, right? You didn't exactly win, but you didn't exactly lose, but you got round 2 that's literally flying in from the clouds right now, and I have no idea how the hell they're gonna get through this. I'm still anxious about what might come. I mean, I can only imagine how you felt. I thought Winter was gonna die this episode. Like, no bullshit. Like, I honestly thought, like, Winter was gonna die and give Penny enough time to transfer the maiden powers. Because, like, the aura got dropped early, she drew blood early, then she was getting slammed around the ice, and, like, if it wasn't for Penny getting the power and Cinder reacting and turning around, and then RWBY and White showing up, I feel like that would have happened. But yeah, because, like, Cinder, you know what I mean? Like, the heroes got the maiden, but they lost the relic. So it's kind of like, well, it's not all lost, it's not all gone. I don't think Salem knows what the relic's, like, Jin's name, because even Ozpin didn't know at the time when he initially told her. All he did was told her about the relics, and bringing them together would bring back the gods. It wasn't until after him and Salem butted heads that Ozpin went looking for the relics and started at, like, the first instance that we saw, he asked Jin, he was like, where can I find the other relics? What powers do they possess? So he didn't know what powers they possessed before when he was the original Ozma. So that would mean, in turn, it would only make sense that Salem doesn't know either. So she's just trying to get all the relics. I don't think she knows what, like, who Jin is to then ask the question or whatever the case might be. So as long as no one spills the beans, right, like one of the Aesops or Ironwood himself, you know, Team RWBY knows, Team Juniper knows, Crow knows, the Aesops know, Penny knows, Ironwood knows, Winter knows. That's everything, you know? So yeah. And then on top of that, I feel like the villains, I feel like it would be somewhat fulfilling if the villains asked the last question, but it's just like, what can they give us of relevance with the last question? Like, I feel like the fact that we got this major, I feel like Volume 6, Chapter 3, that being the, like, we got an entire episode out of a question. I feel like that sets the bar incredibly high to follow up on whatever expectations we're going to get from this next question, right? I feel like it has to be just as fulfilling or just as worthy of a question to give a payoff for something like that, because that's it. After that last question's asked, bye Colleen, bye Jin for the next lifetime, basically. But yeah, let's see. We really wanted to end the volume with each faction having something important. Ironwood has the vault / the staff. The heroes have the key in Penny. Salem has the, exactly. Like, that's why I feel like everyone kind of got something, you know? And there wasn't exactly a win or a loss. Like, everyone's kind of like at a standstill. Because, like, they have the relic, but they don't know Jin for the last question. Ironwood has the vault and the staff, but he doesn't have access to it. And Penny, they have the key, which is Penny, but they have to find a way to get back up there in order to get it if they want it, or if they want to keep it away from Salem, or they just need to get Penny as far away from Atlas and Mantle as possible. It's kind of like a different process, but, like, you know, they wanted Ironwood wanted to get all of them together in the same spot and then go into space. But I think scattering them is still very much a nice alternative to that. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think I think they're all just going to stay their ground, and they're just trying to, like, recalibrate and figure out what the hell to do. Yeah, both sides lost the battle, but not the... Yeah, the war is next volume. That's for sure. Jin, what is up with Ajan's hair? Oh my god. We're gonna get the episode. We're gonna get an entire episode of Jean, like, cutting his own hair. And then he's just using, like, a banana as inspiration, like, on, like, the table, and he's just looking at it and looking in the mirror and trying to, like, make sure it's one and the same. Yeah. These were pretty rough too. It's so I like the crow scene is so sad because it's just like, you know, Clover's body's just like right there too, and Crow's not even trying to run or hide from whatever is gonna happen. You know, I've seen a few people like, oh, why didn't Crow just turn into a bird and leave? It's like, number one, that's an admission of guilt if you flee a murder scene, especially if everything lines up to where it was you that did it, even if you didn't do it. So that's number one. Number two, what, you know what I mean? Like, number two is, it just doesn't seem like Crow just doesn't have it in him to do that. It's just like, he fucked up, he failed. Like, you know, he got caught up in Tyrion's game and it bit him in the ass. And also it's just like, I don't know, he's just accepting it. Like, what better, like, I feel like to him nothing worse can happen than what just happened, you know? Jin, why didn't they wear fancy outfits to the dinner party? It's like, Jin, where's my Atlas ball? Where's my Atlas ball 2019? Oh boy. But yeah, I feel so bad for Crow though, because this kind of just reinforces this basically just reinforces to him why he's meant to be alone. And I mentioned that I mentioned that last week, and I didn't mean it like, yeah, I want Crow to be lonely and sad and depressed. Like, I feel like as a character, I don't know if archetype's the right word, but like, his character is meant to is meant to fulfill that role. Like, he's meant to be alone. Just like Cinder, I feel, is meant to constantly fail. You know, like that's the cycle that these characters are built into. You know, it's the reason he works alone. It's the reason why he stays away from his friends and family. It's the reason why most likely Team Stark, like, is probably like a big part of why Team Stark fell apart. You know, his bad luck probably played an influence in whatever happened, or he feels that maybe. I don't know. I feel like he just loses a lot, and like this kind of probably validated his original feelings of like, I can't have this because if I have too much of a good thing, it's gonna slip away. And that's for anything. That's a friendship. That's just someone to talk to, a friend, you know, a love interest, whatever the case might be. It's just a basic human relationship that he's unable to have with anyone because of his bad luck. And again, it was more Tyrion, and more the fact that Tyrion got in his head, but he's just going to perceive that as it was bound to happen because it's me, because I'm bad luck, because that's all I bring is misfortune, you know? I feel so bad for him though. Like, I feel like this is going to like create, like, he's going to go back to drinking. He's going to go back to being a very withdrawn character. And I don't know if what he meant. I don't know if what he said to Clover, he actually meant it when he was like, James will take the fall. Like, is he going to take down Ironwood? Does he think this all stemmed because Ironwood made these rash decisions, these harsh calls that really kind of blew things out of proportion? You know? You got to find that he's threading it back to the source. Cinder lost another fight. No surprise there. But, you know, Neo secured the dub for them, so she's going to take Neo's credit, unfortunately. Poor Robin, got freaking knocked out during a freaking airship crash. Granted, one that she instigated, again, through Tyrion's influence, and just wakes up and gets arrested. And then everybody else is just like, yo, we got nothing. We don't know where Oscar is. We don't know where the relic is. We done goofed. I do like the idea that Oscar, it's gonna be like Oscar alone, like an Avatar variant, like Oscar alone. It's just gonna be Oscar and Ozpin in Mantle, or in Atlas, in Mantle, like working their way back up to Atlas or to Ironwood or to Salem or whatever the case might be. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I feel like Oscar and Ozpin definitely need some character development in that regard. Before Ozpin re-links up with everyone else, because I feel like it might, I don't know, seeing Ozpin again or hearing Ozpin again might be a saving grace for them. It might be something that they all need to hear to kind of get back on track. But yeah. You want to see Galinda Goodwitch? I mean, we'll probably see her when we go back to Beacon. Also, yeah, I think it's super dope that Cinder can breathe fire. That reminded me of Avatar. Like freaking Uncle Iroh. Like breathing fire out of her mouth. That's like some savagery right there. That's literally like unhinged anger. But yeah, so we got more of those moments. It's just a bittersweet, like it's just a bittersweet conclusion for some, right? Like this moment here. Like really, like goddamn, like a lot of people were hoping that too. A lot of people were like, I hope he gets the pin, and I'm happy that he took the pin too. It could be a obviously it's just the memento. It's just so depressing, man. It's just so sad to see. Clover was also a bro, dude. Like, he was so awesome. What would you guys do without me? You know, that's what he says in the volume 3 fight. I'm sorry, the chapter 3 fight. He was like, what would you guys do without me? And it's like, damn, bro, too soon. Yeah. Crow was doing so well, man. I was just so happy for the guy. You know, he seemed like a completely different dude. He just had a different life around him. And I wonder how the Aesops are going to feel about losing their leader. How Ironwood's going to feel about losing his Aesop leader. How Ironwood's going to react to it, like the reports potentially claiming that it was Crow. Even if Crow tells him that it was Tyrion, he's probably not going to care at this point. He's just going to overreact, knee-jerk reaction to everything that happens, or everything that's gonna happen to him, or everything that's going on in the moment. And I don't know, it's just a sad circumstance. It also bothers me a little bit that Robin is finally willing to see, you know what I mean? Like, I know she's consoling him, but it's like things could have been so different if you just didn't attack on that airship. Granted, I'm going to give a part of that blame to Tyrion, because Tyrion is an instigator, and took advantage of that situation. But fuck, man. Yo, was I the only one who thinks that like Winter looks hot with long hair? I couldn't have been the only one, right? Like come on now. Like, I definitely wasn't the only one who thought that. Wow, the chat blew up when I asked that question. Oh man, yeah, Winter. I am a big fan of the long hair. Very big fan of the long hair. My favorite part of your reaction. She looks so pretty with long hair. Yeah. I had to pay respects to it. I don't think I've ever seen, I mean, we've rarely seen Weiss with her hair down. I think that's like a volume 1 thing. But like, I never thought we'd see Winter with long, because she just looks the same. Like, her hair has always been the same. So I was just like, whoa, calm down. Hey, I'm admiring her, okay? I can have that. Winter was pretty cool about it, though. She was just like, all right, you guys either need to comply. You know what this reminded me of? Has anyone seen the movie Jumper? That's like one of my favorite movies. I really like that movie, Jumper. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Jumper, it's a great movie. You should watch it. It ages okay. I saw it in like recent years, but there's a scene in Jumper that reminded me of this moment. It's at the very end. It's like the last scene of the movie where Jumper character meets a female character who's important to him. You guys know what I'm talking. So Jumper character meets female paladin character. Female paladin character and Jumper character are important to each other. I'm tiptoeing around spoilers. And the paladin character says, I'm not leaving you. I'm giving you a head start. That's what this reminded me of, because Winter said the exact same thing. She's like, you're not leaving me. I'm giving you a head start. And I was like, yo, Jumper? Hello? That's what it reminded me of, at least. That line she said reminded me of that scene, the ending scene in Jumper between the guy and the paladin woman. I don't know if anyone else, you're not the only one. Okay, good. At the very least, I just wanted to I just share my thoughts in general, so that's what it reminded me of. And but I think this is Winter's way of like following her heart, but not so directly, where she's like, okay, break the rules, guys, go and do your own thing. She's just turning a blind eye, like literally turning a blind eye because one of her eyes are black. Like, she literally has a black eye, so she could quite literally turn a blind eye. But yeah, like, what I'm wondering now is what are going to be the ramifications of this moving forward? Because how...
Hello again.
Clint Fole, thank you for the resubbing for 6 months on Twitch. Appreciate it. Even though we're on YouTube. But how does Winter explain to Ironwood that the maiden power is simply gone?
Calm down.
But
we're not here for your money.
How is she going to explain that it's within Penny, who she was with the entire time, and now is also gone and in Team RWBY's custody? You know what I mean? Like, I wonder how Ironwood's going to react, or how Ironwood's going to treat Winter in that regard, if he feels like she's lying to him. You know? My initial thing would be like, how? How's the main... Like, if Cinder didn't get it, then where is it, and who has it, and how did they get it, and how... Like, why aren't they with you? You know? Also, technically, Team RWBY just stole Atlas military property, most likely in Ironwood's eyes, since he claims that he controls Penny. Again, I think it'd be very interesting if Ironwood is pushed that far gone, you know, he's that far gone, that he teams up with Watts to get Penny back. You see, Ironwood, what happened was I got knocked over the side of the head with a brick, and I was out for the entire fight. And when I woke up, everyone was gone. But yeah, like he kept Watts alive. That's your first mistake. Should have dropped his ass in that lava pool. But he had enough humanity in him at the time to keep him alive, but not enough humanity to not shoot Oscar. You know what I mean? Because now it's gonna be like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's like, Watts, I need your help. I need a tech savvy individual who can deal with a robot who's also a maiden, you know? It's, I feel like Watts, and like the fact that Watts is still around and Salem's here, I feel like Watts' story isn't done yet. We still don't really know much about his backstory. We obviously, like, what's up with the Paladin project? What has he added new upgrades to that? Are we going to see some Paladins in Volume 8? You know? Ironwood needs to pull out the big heavy guns, right? I'm talking like airships, fleet ships, freaking paladins, like Mach 1, 2, and 3 versions, the freaking the knights,
we're not here for
every
your money.
huntsman in the kingdom. Like, they need to do everything they can to either stop Salem or get Penny back, because Penny is a big factor now. She's a robot, she's like the defender of the kingdom, but also now a maiden, but that gives her a target to Salem now. So yeah, I mean, they can take this in a few interesting ways. It just depends on what they're going to be doing with the villains next volume. That's really going to apply for it. Also, quick moment of appreciation here for Winter in all of her glory. Admiring, by the way. Just admiring. Nothing more, nothing less. I swear. Yeah, she looks great. I mean, she looks a little disheveled right now, but all that aside, she looks incredible. All right, guys. To be honest, I'm just trying to look good on stream for Winter in the chat. That's quite literally it. Also, for those of you who want like perfection in physical form, you're welcome, by the way. Now you can't tell me that's not like come on. Come on. I don't know. Winter's hot. That's all I'm saying. Moving on. All right, chat. Relax. All right, I'm actually tame over here. Y'all are popping off. You guys need to relax. All right, anyways. I'm the company I keep, apparently. Also, Crow. Look at Crow over here. Look at this man. He even knows what's up. That's another meme. This meme I pulled off of Twitter by Mematic. Like, Crow is giving us that seal of approval, guys. It's like, are you suggesting she was ugly? No! Oh, come on. Don't turn this on me now. I'm just saying she looked great, but now she looks... okay, well, she looks greater. Hey, it's the long hair. It does things,
We're
okay?
not here for your money.
It does things. I was digging a hole right there for a second. I was like, she's good, but now she's great? I don't know. Sir, we found the missing snack. The snacks, it's me. Oh, boy. Yeah, I thought this meme was really funny, so I decided to add it. Penny is with the squad. Yo, Team RWBY is literally OP now. We have a robotic maiden. Penny, no doubt. No less. You know what I mean? Like, we already know what Penny's capable of. Add magic to that. Maiden magic. Crazy, dude. The Iron... Yo! We should start calling her that! The Iron Maiden? It's like the band. Oh, that's so cool. That's sick. I like it. I'm a big fan. Iron Maiden. Oh, I guess that... I like it. I like it. I'm a big fan. I don't think we can call her Iron Maiden without getting RT in trouble. I mean, it's a shipping name. They're not going to get in trouble. Now, if they want to sell merchandise with Iron Maiden on it, then that's when you get into legality issues and all that jazz. But yeah, Pietro, best dad. He's like, my daughter's happy. That means I'm happy. And then you got Penny, RWBY, and Weiss. Whoa. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, it's just great. They're all together. A moment of solace before Salem shows up and fucks everybody up. I really think Volume 8 is going to be a bloodbath. I feel like a lot of fodder characters are going to die. Like Faunus and children and like humans and higher-ups and like people in Atlas and people in Mantle. Like, people are getting wrecked. She just has, like, that whale can literally eat Atlas out of the sky. Like, just open its mouth. Like this is, like, Like this is Mantle, just chilling.
Calm down.
And here comes the Grim.
I'm not here for your
Just
money.
fucking taking a bite out of crime, dude. Just freaking eats that shit right out of the sky. Relic and all. Are you kidding me? A fucking... I don't know if you can tell us right now, Eddie, but does that Grim have a name yet? Like, not like a community name, like a Grim name. I really want to know what they're going to name that Grim. That's a one-of-a-kind Grim, by the way. I better not see another whale Grim for as long as I live. It's, I really just want to know what the Grim's name is. It's, Tiny. Oh, boy. Richard? Oh, God. God, Team Funky is pretty much, like, MIA at this point. But, yeah, we got some more moments here. Oh yeah, these two. You know why Neo's pissed is because like Cinder doesn't know how to say thank you, like at all for anything. Like she just like yoinks the relic and she's just like, now I can go report back to Salem and get my, be back in my good graces with her. So all you gotta do is say thank you. Neo too. Neo's like, I bring you your prize, my liege. And then she's just like, give me that. And then she's just like, get out of my face. Neo doesn't deserve that. Ironwood. Fuck, man. That scene during the monologue is just so heavy for me. Like, hearing Ozpin say, will you recognize them? Or will the person you see looking back at you be the one thing you should have feared from the very beginning? And then you just hear Ironwood just screaming, like, in anger. Like, he's fucking heated, dude. It's so upsetting, man. Actually, now that I mention that, I wanna watch the monologue. I wanna hear the monologue again, just so I can hear Ironwood scream. Hold on.
The single quality that is common across every living creature on this planet is fear. It's funny then that as common as fear is,
God, this is so good. It's such a good
we
monologue.
so easily underestimate its power. Fear of growing close to someone. The subsequent fear of loss. Fear of failure. And as more people depend on you, those fears can take on greater power. But fear itself isn't worthy of concern. It is who we become while in its clutches. Will you be proud of that person? Will you forgive them? Will you understand why they felt the need to do the things they did? Will you even recognize them? Or will the person staring back at you be the very thing you should have feared from the start?
God, it's
I
so
suppose
good.
we'll all find out sooner or later.
It's so good.
That power. These memories. You're back, aren't you? You saved me.
Actually, you saved us.
Ozpin is such a fucking lad, dude. He was like, actually, you saved us. What a nice thing to say after being gone for 2 volumes. Oscar saved the day, by the way. That was all Oscar. I'm not taking any criticism, all right? Also, superhero landing for the win. Where's I know, right? Tyrion's just like AWOL. Like, didn't even show us his whereabouts. He's just like chilling in the slums somewhere, waiting for Salem to show up. He's like, yo, I did my part, and I got to kill mad people. I'm just gonna lie low for a bit. Yeah. Oh man, I loved this scene here with Iron. Dude, it's so satisfying. Like, also Jason Rose did such a phenomenal job with Ironwood, and it's crazy too because like you only really have like volumes 2 and kind of 3 to like gauge Ironwood as a character. You know, volume 4 did a tiny bit of development with him, like whenever he was at the when he was at the Schnee Manor. He wasn't in volume 5. I don't think he was in volume 6. And like volume 7 really gives you the bulk of Ironwood as a character. And it's great too because like it's not like, oh well, Ironwood's so different because he's, you know, we haven't seen him in years. It's like, no, he's a very consistent character. And if you go back and watch volumes 2, 3, and bits of 4, like everything he does lines up with the person that he is to a T. And yeah, I'm reiterating it again too, but as of right now, I think Ironwood's my favorite character. It'll be solidified by the end of volume 8 if we find out what happens to Atlas, if we find out if anything happens to him, or if he dies or whatever the case might be. But he's definitely in my top 5. Like right now, top 5. Number 1 all-time favorite. Very, very, I feel like I'm jumping the gun by saying that because it hasn't even been a week since the finale, but I love everything about Ironwood that, like, he just delivered something for his character. Again, it's the psychological aspect of his development that I really cater to as well. Jason Rose just fucking killed it. Like, this entire volume, he put the fucking volume on his back. I love him so much for that. Wait, what happened to Weiss? Look, nothing happened to Weiss. It's just things happened to Ironwood. That's the difference, right? I still love Weiss. If anything, I think my top 5 will just literally be Elysians, right? Ironwood, Winter, Ironwood, Weiss, Winter. Because Winter had a lot of development this volume too. A lot of sister moments too that really And again, it's just the fact that we haven't seen either of them since volume 3. So I think that return and that immediate payoff, not payoff, that immediate, I don't want to say fan service, but it's just like they knew, like they gave us what they knew we wanted. Like we wanted to see Winter again. We wanted to see Ironwood again. We didn't know we were going to get Penny, but we got Penny and we got Penny in spades. You know what I mean? Like this entire volume was just like the Atlas. It was like Atlas's home turf. Like it was their time to shine, and they shine. And they shine. So yeah, I top 5 characters in no order. That's so hard, man. So in no order: Weiss, Ironwood. Fuck, this is hard. Weiss, Ironwood, Jean. Weiss, Ironwood, Jean. Oh my god, this is tough. Weiss, Ironwood, Jean. I really like Watts. I don't know who's a better villain to me, Watts or Tyrion. Like Tyrion, I thought Tyrion like was gonna fall off after like all the killing and stuff, but the fact that he followed up with teaming up with Crow and then killing Clover, like that brought him back. That actually also made him kind of excel with it. Yeah, Pyrrha as well. God, it's so hard. I don't know. It's so hard, man. Cause like Pyrrha's immortalized at this point, but it's just like, man. And then like I also have to take villains into consideration. I don't want to just only pick the heroes because I really like Watts and Tyrion. Like Watts was my favorite this entire time, and Tyrion was getting like flavor moments here and there. But like last chapter, I was like, wait, Tyrion actually might be better than Watts as my favorite villain. Because it seems like Watts gave us everything he had to offer in the chapter 11. By chapter 11. Oh, man. Ozpin's a great villain. I would have to do a top 10. There's no way I could do a... And I hate doing top videos because it's like, well, it's all based on ranking. So your top 10, your number 1 is your all-time favorite, and your 10 is your least favorite of those 10. You know, I'm just awful at doing shit like that. I'll do a tier list. How's that? That way I can give everyone a moment to shine, and I don't have to, like, put people above others. I want to do a tier list of, like, my favorite characters in RWBY, top fights in RWBY, top Grim, shit like that. I'll definitely do a tier maker list in future. I think it's great, especially after this volume. Like, this is, like, a great volume to kind of plateau that kind of stuff off of. Yeah, it'll definitely be a hiatus video for sure. But looking on it now, there's just so much. I would easily be able to put characters on the same plateau as each other, like Ironwood and Weiss would be like on the same, like they'd both be like S tier for me or something like that. That way I don't have to pick one over the other because I feel like they're both very fulfilling characters. Ironwood, I feel like he can be solidified by next volume, depending on if he dies or not. God damn, man. Such a good chapter. Such a good volume, man. Such a good volume. And then, yeah, Watts is alive, so there's still more to be told with his story. The fact that he's still around. Also, he also has a black eye, so him and Winter are, like, sporting the opposite eye that's blackened, which is kind of funny. Or interesting, or whatever you want to call it. But then you got Oscar. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. So Oscar falling in both shots here. Your boy's free falling. And legend has it, he's still falling. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I liked this entire... Okay, Dan, thank you so much for tuning in, buddy. I appreciate you sticking around for all the discussions this volume. I appreciate it very, very much, man. I'll definitely be seeing you around. But thank you so much. You have yourself a good night. I appreciate you helping out in the mod, like in the chat and everything, and just being supportive. Take care, buddy. Oh, one thing. Oh, did I include it? Oh, fudge! I didn't include it. So one thing that I really liked about the falling scene, particularly this falling scene, is the little 2D background. When Oscar like powers up right before he lands, you can see like the quarry. I really wish I could have sworn I did a slow motion version, but I didn't put it in OBS. I just like that background. Like you can see some houses and some like machinery and stuff like that for the quarry. I just liked that 2D environment in the background. It's really quick and easy to miss because like he just falls straight down, so you don't really get to see the backdrop as he's falling. Let's see. I'm free falling. Yeah. Yeah, my reaction is going to be posted tomorrow at 11 a.m. So basically the same time that non-first members will see the chapter. I wish it could go out later, but there's a RWBY AMA happening at 12 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Central, that I don't want my thing to start the same time that starts because that's going on for an hour and a half. So I have to do it at 11. So some people who are watching the episode for the first time won't be able to see my reaction at the same time. They'll most likely have to watch it after the fact, after it's premiered. 11 is perfect. Yeah, chapter 11 is fantastic. Where's the AMA? It's on Reddit. Hold on, let me pull up the image because I forgot to put the image. Let's see, Ace Ops. Let me pull up the image on my computer because I completely forgot to do that during prep. I mentioned it at the beginning. It's on the YouTube community tab and it's on my Twitter. And Rooster Teeth, the official RWBY Twitter, also tweeted that out. Let's see, Ace. All right, hold on. My computer's being a little. It's not cooperating, basically, is what I'm getting at. Come on. Give me one sec, chat. I have a lot. I gotta go through all of my full. Oh, hold on. Okay, let's see. 8-3. There we go. There it is. So this is it right here. If you guys haven't seen it, hold on. So an AMA with the voice actors of the Aesops from RWBY Volume 7 tomorrow, February 8th at 11 a.m. Central Time. So that's 12 a.m. That's 12 p.m. Eastern. 11, 10, 9, 8 a.m. Pacific. I think that's right. But yeah, so it's from 11 a.m. Central to 12:30 p.m. Central. So if you guys haven't, you guys can submit questions, or I guess they're just going to be taking questions answered during that, and you guys can, I guess, just figure out or find out whatever they're gonna discuss. I'm gonna tune into it, and depending on if there's anything interesting or anything to add to the conversation of the Aesops after Volume 7, I might make a follow-up video of like the highlights or specific questions that they answer. Kind of like I did a couple years ago with the Reddit AMA, the Tumblr AMA that they did a while back. So yeah, I'll most likely do that. But yep, you got the five Aesop voice actors and actresses. So that's gonna be on the RWBY. That's also, it's weird because this doesn't say where it is. But yeah, it's gonna be on the RWBY subreddit tomorrow. I'm pretty sure they already have like a post of that outlined for people who are gonna probably go there and check it out. Another cool thing too, if you guys didn't notice, is Volume 7 starts and ends in a very similar fashion. An airship going into the kingdom and an airship leaving the kingdom after like all the bullshit goes down. So very interesting parallel there as well. Bookends. Yeah. Oh, this is called Bookends. Oh, okay. I didn't know that it had I didn't know it had a term. That's kind of cool. But yeah, you got I liked it. I liked how that all kind of like the parallels and all that. It's kind of neat. But shit is about to hit the motherfucking fan. Because Salem's here, and she brought her pet whale. She brought her shiny whalerd to the party. Oh boy. Yeah, so yeah, this is most likely a Monstro reference, being the whale that swallows up Pinocchio and Geppetto in the movie, in the Pinocchio movie. And given the fact that Pietro is a reference to Geppetto, Penny a reference to Pinocchio, you know, the theory that Freya is a reference to the Blue Fairy, and Ciel Soleil a reference to Geppetto, Penny might die to the whale, or get eaten up by the whale, or both of them might, or all of Atlas might. Who knows? Who knows what the hell this whale has in store? But like, it's just so crazy. Like an actual fucking flying whale, dude. Like, I couldn't have imagined that. Like, I couldn't have pictured that was what was flying in through the sky. Actually a whale. It's a Dynamax Whalelord. Yo! That'd be pretty cool if that was their reference. It's like, hey, we've been playing a lot of Pokemon lately, and we were just like, why don't we just have a Dynamax Pokemon? And it's like, how about, think about it, a giant Whalelord. Those things can fly. Yeah, it's a shiny Dynamax Whalelord. Torchwick parallels if Penny, Pietro died to a grand. Yeah, because isn't he like Lampwick and Clockwork Orange? Yeah, I know the whale didn't kill Pinocchio, but I'm saying like the whale will kill Penny. That's what I feel like the parallel's gonna be. It's like, hey, we didn't get Pinocchio in the movie, but we can get him in RWBY this time. Or we can get her in RWBY this time, technically. You know? So there's that. Yo, can we talk about the music real quick? Yo, we're getting 9 new songs in a few months. 9. That's not including acoustics, and that's not including remixes. We usually get 7 songs with an acoustic and a couple remixes. Trust Love, Touch the Sky, Brand New Day, Celebrate, Let's Get Real, Hero, War, Until the End, and Fear. That's a variety pack right there, mind you. We have Caleb Hiles, we have Santee C, we have Adrienne Cohen, we have Don Bennett, we have Erin Riley, Casey, Jeff. I'm pretty sure they're going to sneak Lamar onto one of these tracks. Like, that's a diverse cast of characters. That's a diverse cast of vocalists. I almost said a diverse cast of... I technically did say a diverse cast of characters, but you know what I mean. What songs are y'all looking forward to? Also, I took slow chat off, so... I'm just bracing for it. What songs are you guys looking forward to the most? Top 2 songs, go. My 2... Okay, so I already like Fear, so Fear's out of the equation, because Fear's already a full song, and it's already out, and you can literally listen to it right now on YouTube. My two songs I'm looking forward to is War and Brand New Day. No. My bad. Hero and Brand New Day. That's what I meant. My fault. I like Brand New Day a lot because Jeff is on it. Just being honest, I really like a lot of the songs that Jeff is on, or Jeff has like a moment or like a part for himself, like a verse for himself. Not Fall in Love with You, Die, Caffeine are some of my favorite songs just because Jeff is either partially on it or it's just his complete track. The Red vs. Blue soundtrack is another one that I really appreciate because that's just Jeff and Lamar just going in. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I'm actually looking forward to Trust Love because I've been singing it for the last 3 months, on the channel. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen the mashup sing-along video that I uploaded a while ago to Trust Love. But I'm actually eager to hear that full song. Fear is currently my favorite just because I've been playing that song daily since the volume has come out, and I'm actually like really, really excited that it kind of gives more, like I said, it kind of fills in and gives more context to like Ozpin and Oscar's conversation to Ironwood about fear and giving into it, and it brings out who you really are when you're in its clutches, and kind of Ironwood in general, and just the villains in general, and the characters in general, and what everyone, like people, humans, like every living creature goes through fear in some capacity, whether it's fear of being prey. If you're like a gazelle or a zebra out in the savannah, or if you're like an average person who's trying to like make ends meet or support a family, or try to do any type of venture or any type of endeavor. I think that the song is very relatable and very grounded, not just for the characters in the show, but for like anyone who listens to it. And yeah, I just really like it. It's definitely a banger. And then rounding up the volume, as most of you guys are probably aware, February 1st was when the last episode aired on the Rooster Teeth website for first members, and February 1st was also the 5-year anniversary of Monty Ohm's passing. So I do appreciate the fact that they acknowledged that in the credits. Obviously, there was no post-credit scene. I think that's completely understandable. I know some people would have preferred something, or maybe preferred the illusion of something. They could have easily taken the Salem thing that they revealed. They revealed Salem. They revealed Salem at the end of the episode. I feel like if they had taken that and put that at the end credits, people would have been satisfied with it, even though it was at the end of the episode. I just feel like it's like the illusion of like, we always get an end credit scene, and then to not get one was just like, wait, what timeline am I living in? But it makes sense. Volume 8 picks up right where Volume 7 left off. If anything, whatever is going to be at the end credits, you might as well just slap it to the end of the episode. It's going to give the same type of effect. But maybe it's perceived differently because there's always an end credit scene. There's always a little tidbit of something at the end. But there's never been a volume that picks up immediately where the last one left off. Volume 6 to 7 was the exception because the first episode of this volume was actually supposed to be parts of it was supposed to be included in the last volume. So yeah, I just love that they're still moving forward. They're still honoring Monty's memory, and you know, they're still hard at work at creating this show year in and year out. And I think they did a really great job. Yeah, Carrie also opted. He posted a tweet about like the fact that they didn't want to do an end credit scene because they didn't want to like have crunch time. They didn't want people to be like working super extra hard at the last possible minute to get like a 2-minute clip for the credits. Like at the end of the day, they were just gonna deliver what they could. They're gonna make it the best they can, and they're gonna call it a volume. And I think they did that phenomenally. If anything, not getting an end credit scene just kind of builds up more anticipation for that day one volume 8 premiere, which is literally gonna start with Salem and company showing up. So things are gonna be escalated to like cranked up to 11 with picking up with the tension and everything else. I feel like it's actually important too to rewatch volume 7 going into volume 8, so you go into it with those same emotions that you felt when you finished the volume, or when volume 7 wrapped up. But yeah, guys, you know, this was a fantastic volume overall. We finished this discussion in just under 4 hours, 3 hours, 45 minutes. So I'm actually really proud of myself for that as well. I'm going to take this clip-on tie off now. Jesus. It's been a little uncomfortable for a bit. But I hope you guys enjoyed more than anything. I do apologize to those of you who did give donations and super chats. I know I was kind of rambling at length during this discussion, but we did start particularly late. And so I just wanted to kind of make sure I got through all of my thoughts and just kind of get through the discussion in a way that we weren't here until midnight. But thank you guys so very much. Let me just run through these names really quick. MCZ Dubs Productions, Esteban Ramos, Mason Prickett, Techno Major, Salvador, Josh, thank you, Zeno, Synap, Gladys Go Cool, I think that's how you say that. Oh shit. Yo, my brother was in here. My little brother was in the stream. I didn't even notice that. He complimented my clip-on tie. I gotta hit him up later, or probably tomorrow because it's almost midnight. Let's see. Drady6, thank you very much for the super chat. Shane Miller, I appreciate the super chat. Fernando, Rising, sup man? Nice to see you in the chat again. I told you that I'd make it. It's lovely to get to see you put a cap to the Volume 7 discussions. Here's to more base content moving forward. Kermit Clinton, thank you as well. Chandler Sneed, appreciate it. Do you think Root Penny is a real girl? I mean, to an extent, she's as real as you can perceive her to be, but, you know, there's still some aspects about it. Jennifer San Marco, thank you so much for the super chat. I may or may not have started your, just to start on your chibi. Oh, really? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Will, thank you for the $10 super chat once again. No animation. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it. Do you think Oscar will keep Ozpin's return a secret? I don't know. I mean, Oscar was the one that was very much against, like, RWBY keeping secrets from Ironwood, so I don't think he would do that. And if he did, it would be kind of odd. Techno Gashi, thank you for the super chat. Oscar Protection Squad, where you at? Crunchy Chris, thank you for the follow-up super chat. Bren H. Juan. Shadow Wolf, surprise, the second one. Thank you so much, buddy. Wow. I appreciate it very, very much. I hope you guys, more than anything, enjoyed the live stream discussions for Volume 7 over the last 13 weeks that we've done them. It's been great. It's been fun. It's been a lot of work, but it's been worth it. You know, like week in and week out, discussing the chapters, theorizing, making shit posts and memes, and just talking to you guys on a weekly basis has been fantastic. And I know this is going to be kind of a hiatus for most people on the channel who kind of are mainly focused or mainly invested in my RWBY content. But I'm definitely planning on branching out and expanding and doing a bunch of other things this year. With RWBY wrapped up, I'm going to take probably like a week or two break from like just general hardcore content uploads. I'm obviously going to still going to be posting some of the Kingdom Hearts uploads, some of the Persona 5 uploads, some RWBY ship posting videos. I'm going to be getting back to the RWBY rapid fire reviews after Kaylin is finished visiting next weekend, or rather next week when she gets here. But then I'm going to be slowly getting back into doing videos. I have my 100K special video that I'm working on, my silver play button video, my gamer tag username origins. For those of you who've been wanting to know what what Murder of Birds is and where it came from and how it was originated, I'm working on that video. I'm working on the script for how I'm going to tell my origin story. This year is my 7th year anniversary on YouTube, so I'm thinking about doing a 7-year retrospective video of like what YouTube was like when I first started, how I got my first foot into doing content, what I started with, what I changed up, what I migrated into, and how I essentially became a big part of the RWBY community and the Rooster Teeth community. So like a 7-year retrospective video, something I'm considering. But primarily, I'm definitely going to be getting into anime-based content. I don't have anything finalized yet. I don't have anything hard set in stone as to like, this is definitely what I'm watching in 2020. Log Horizon is a definitive. Like, I'm definitely going to be checking out Log Horizon. I'm going to be getting back into doing reviews and reactions for the series because I never finished season 2. Season 3 comes out at the end of the year, and I want to do like a redux return to season 1 because it's been years since I watched it. Oh my God, William! Wait, before the stream ends, take this. So like, it's too dangerous to go out there alone. Take this. Thank you so much, man, for the $100 super chat. Thank you very much. Any word on Genlock? It's rumored, season 2 is rumored to return this year, and it's going to premiere first on HBO Max, and then 3 months later on the Rooster Teeth website. But as far as right now, it's still subject to change. We don't have a release date yet. Let's see. Super Monamon, thank you so much for the multiple donations during the stream. I appreciate it. As well as Poetic Shane, Miraculous Corazon, D'Anthony Potts. I do appreciate y'all's support. I do apologize that I wasn't able to get through as many of them just because we had a very intensive stream overall. I started it super late. I didn't want to ramble or get caught off guard with my discussion. So I do hope you guys understand, and I hope you guys understand as well that I do appreciate very much the support that you guys have shown me through being here, through donating, through super chatting, and just for being really supportive during the RWBY season. It's always a pleasure. It's always a joy. It's always a treat. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. My reaction to the finale will be posted tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time on 11 a.m. Eastern on YouTube. And then following that, I'll have like the Ozpin's monologue, and then I have a few RWBY short videos and RWBY general videos that I want to upload, RWBY ship posting and certain things like that. And then maybe a week or two from then, I'm gonna start doing a bit of editing work and recording work for some of the rapid fire reviews. So if you're one of the people who has been tuning in and out of these live stream discussions and you haven't really gotten a full glimpse of my thoughts of a volume overall, and you don't have hours to listen to these live stream discussions, I'm gonna make sure I have like these short bite-sized videos that you can check out. Granted, it's after the volume, but it mainly contains all of the opinions that I've given during my live stream discussion. So it's not like I'm talking about something that I didn't talk about when the volume was out. It's mainly for people who want some supplementary content at the end of the volume that's informative and kind of exciting and entertaining more than anything based on the format that I've adopted for it. But yeah, RWBY Volume 8, we're going to have this long hiatus. We're probably not going to get anything until RTX 2020 during the summer in July, so that'll probably be the first instance of RWBY content to look forward to with whatever they show, whether it's a trailer or I don't know if they're going to do character shorts anymore, if they're going to show a snippet of the first episode or what the case might be. But yeah, it's been real. It's been fun. I have a bunch of other things that I'm working on this year. Red vs. Blue is going to be returning. I need to get to RWBY Chibi Season 3 because I've put that off. I was supposed to get back to that before RWBY 7, but I finished season 2 at the very least. But yeah, nothing is coming immediately. Everything will be officially announced on the channel and on Twitter and in the community tab. I'll be making official prompt videos for all of that. Like I said as well, the link is in the description for the Oscars if you guys want to vote for your like the best categories for Volume 7, your favorite fights, your favorite characters, your favorite fight scenes, your favorite voice acting performances, your best supporting role, your best side characters, your favorite Aesops. We have an entire voting process for that in the description. The link's there, and you can make one per Google account. And in a couple of weeks, Kaylin and Hunter are going to do a follow-up video announcing the winners of the Volume 7 Oscars. So hopefully that's something you guys will check out. About 5,000 people have already voted, and you know, that was really fun and exciting to put together. I'm going to be making a video on that on Monday, so you guys can look forward to that as well. But guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure to work on these live streams week in and week out for the last couple of months for RWBY. I hope you guys enjoyed the reactions. I hope you guys enjoyed the discussions. I hope you enjoyed the shit posting videos. I hope you enjoyed the polls and everything else that we've done this volume. And it's not goodbye. It's I'll see you later. I'm still going to be posting videos all around, but I know most people are probably just going to be around when RWBY content pops up. So there's going to be things here and there for people who want to engage in those kind of things. I can finally check out the RWBY comics. I can finally get back to finishing RWBY After the Fall, so I can get my thoughts out on that. So there's going to be RWBY stuff. There's definitely going to be a lot more RWBY content during the off season that I got you guys on. So you guys won't be high and dry until Volume 8 comes out. But that's gonna do it for me. I had a blast. It was a fantastic volume. I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction tomorrow. It was an intense one, to say the least, for sure. And it was fun. I had a lot of fun this volume. Volume 7, one of the best volumes of the series in my opinion. Definitely up there with Volume 6 and Volume 3 for me at least, and Volume 4. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it here. It feels so weird that I'm not going to do one of these next week. But I'll also be streaming on Twitch. I'll be streaming Kingdom Hearts for the next week or so. Getting through the rest of the data battles for that as well. Rather the like the post game content and stuff. So I'll still be around. I'll still be making content. I'm not going anywhere. Trust me. You guys can't get rid of me that easily. But with all of that said, it's been real. It's been fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the content this year. I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction tomorrow. I hope you guys stick by my side and stay through all of the content that's going to be coming later this year with reactions, reviews, discussions, anime content, gaming streams, and everything else in between. But with all of that said, that's the discussion. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.